Okay, you're good to go, sir.
I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Good afternoon to all Sun Lakers and management companies represented here today. Sun Lakes Country Club is a beautiful grounds, common areas, clubhouses, sports courts, swimming pools, golf courses, fine arts, entertainment, food and beverage options, special events with so many opportunities. Although true, Sun Lakes Country Club is all about these things, I believe Sun Lakes is such a fantastic place because of the people. In the 6 months I've had the honor of serving you, I've learned so much. The people are Sun Lakes, not the amenities, but the people. The people make this place so very special. The people represent 70-plus clubs, board of directors, district delegates, EPAP, advisory committees, and hundreds of volunteers. A true community spirit that lives inside all of us. Each and every day, I'm grateful to live in such an amazing place. The board of directors continue to search out for the very best for all of us, not just for some of us in our community. I'm proud to serve with these people that I sit next to today. They represent what a true volunteer is and should be. It's been 6 months. I've learned so much about our community. I've learned so much and met so many new people. I will always remember that Sun Lakes is just about the people. That's first and foremost. So with that being said, I'll get off the soapbox and we'll get on with this meeting. We're going to start with homeowner comments. Please keep your comments to non-agenda items. And I will call up Mr. Howard Katz first. Yeah.
Should be on.
Isn't that? That's better. Well, you surprised me. Thank you for calling on me. I wasn't expecting to be first since I just handed in the form. My name is Howard Katz. I live in District 23. I'm the alternate delegate for 23. I've been here since 2017. Mr. Joe Ganino announced at the October District Delegate Assembly meeting that he had reached an agreement with the service provider to be effective on October 1st for October, November, and December, and all of 2026. If his agreement was approved at the October Master Board meeting, a loss threshold would be adopted for food and beverage. If the loss in food and beverage is greater than the threshold, the service provider will absorb it. If the loss is less than the threshold, the service provider keeps the overage as profit. Well, I asked for
You're good.
a copy of that agreement so I could see the fine print. I wasn't able to get it because evidently a signed agreement doesn't exist. What I did get in return was an amendment to the services agreement that was signed on September 18, 2025, that is not identical to what was explained by Mr. Joe Ganino. It states that the service provider is not obligated to invest the $380,000 for the purchase of equipment and improvements in connection with dining services at Sun Lakes HOA, as stated in the services agreement. The investment requirement was reduced to $230,000, $150,000 reduction is to be given to Sun Lakes HOA as three $50,000 monthly credits for September, October, and November. The service provider will amortize the $150,000 over the remaining term of the service agreement through March 31st, 2032. If the service agreement is terminated before then, the service provider is entitled to charge Sun Lakes HOA the remaining unamortized amount. That was an interesting amendment to our contract, but it still doesn't answer the question of where is the agreement that was stated that it had been going to be put on the agenda for today. And I looked on the agenda and I don't see that on the agenda. Thank you.
Dr. Wendy Ditchfield.
I want to thank Bob Walters for inviting me to speak with him today. Although I thought I was speaking with one person, I spoke with the entire board and all the admin people. So I was a little intimidated, but it was a good meeting. I spoke on behalf of my concerns for handicap parking in the back over here by what I called the pickleball, but it's paddleball courts. And they informed me that they have already allocated 3 spots to be put over there, that they've already allocated handicap doors to be put in to, I think it's the North Clubhouse, and to the Sand Wedge. So I sincerely appreciate those efforts on behalf of the board. It's been a long time coming. But I forgot to ask you guys a question. With the bingo, and the other thing they said was that they had provided in the activity room seating for all the people that are trying to sit at bingo, because residents have to leave 45 minutes early to beat non-residents into the bingo area. So they're standing out there, many of them handicapped, and I got upset last night because there wasn't any seating. And the security people didn't say, oh, by the way, the multi-purpose room is full of seats and you're welcome to sit in there. We've put them there for you. So anyway, I want to thank you for making those accommodations for the seats. And the last thing I wanted to ask is, I know you're not increasing handicap parking in front of the main building, but since all of the people from bingo are now being directed through one entrance, and it says golf cart parking only in front of the pool area, which is to the right of the main lobby entrance, I know that theoretically we're allowed to park in those places if we have a designated handicap California state license plate. So I'm assuming since we were able to park over by the paddleball courts, that we can do that by the front lobby if you've run out of handicap parking. So that's what I'm asking about. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I ask next time if I've asked questions at a board meeting like this, please respond, even with a little text message saying, Wendy, we heard you, we're working on it. That's it. Kindness. Thank you.
Don Hodgkinson. Did I say that right?
So my purpose for being here today is to let you know that I'm interested in knowing exactly what the association is doing about saving money or making money. We received a refund, or should have received a refund from Spectrum. I have not received anything from the association stating what the purpose of that is, when we're going to get it, and to what avenue is that going to be used. So I would like that information. I also would like to know specifically, what are we doing about making money or saving money on the golf course and the restaurant? Those seem to be the two biggest losing aspects at Sun Lakes. I'm a golfer. I play golf. I pay to play based on the number of rounds of golf that I can play. Now you're going to be raising rates again, I understand. And I would just like to know, when are we going to stop raising rates and start lowering rates? You guys have a huge budget. You make lots of money. We renegotiated a contract with a management company that supposedly saved us some money. I have yet to see where that savings has applied. When are we going to start getting that information? Thank you.
Alex, I'm not going to try to say your last name. I'm sorry. Can you tell me how to say your name? If you say so, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak for a second. I've been coming here for about 7, 8 years, since meeting my father. He recently passed August 10th, I'm sorry to say, and this young lady was very nice to allow me to, she served me some food that day, although your place was closed. Thank you very much. My comments are strictly about the sandwich restaurant and the quality, quantity, and things that occur in that restaurant. I've been coming in for a long time. I've noticed some, first of all, the staff is wonderful there, and they're very good staff. I love them all. And they're very friendly and very caring and give great service. What I have noticed, though, is some changes that are a little bit negative in that, like I came to eat the other day, and I asked for, I don't know how many people like a ham and cheese omelet. I love ham and cheese omelets. All of a sudden, I was told by the staff, oh, we removed ham off the menu, no more ham. Then I saw the manager there I've talked to a couple times. I asked to talk to him for a second. And he goes, where does the ham go? Ham and cheese omelet's a staple at any breakfast place you go. He goes, well, we decided to remove it after a group meeting, and the chef made that executive decision. And my feeling is that, you know, if the ham costs a little more, if it's a cost issue, raise the cost slightly if you order ham in your omelet. But just to remove it without input from a guest or people that live here isn't necessarily real friendly. And I was thinking back about 4 months ago, and I had some toast for breakfast. And I sat there, and one piece of toast came out. I said, where's the second piece? Oh, we decided not to deliver that second piece because many people don't eat them. And I said to myself, that, well, whose decision's that? You're charging me for a full breakfast and 2 pieces of toast. He goes, and he goes, oh, well, no one told me anything, and I'll make sure to have a talk with the back. Now, generally, the food's very good. But I have noticed that the food quantities decreased a tad. I remember eating over 7, 8 years with my father many times in there. And the omelet looked like a 3, 4 egg omelet. All of a sudden, the omelets looked like a 2 egg omelet. So whereas I understand costs and increases in cost and wanting to save money, at the same time, I understand if prices go up slightly for breakfast. But to reduce it and not give us any input, or to remove ham off the menu without even asking for any audience input or restaurateur inputs, you know, it's a little irritating because I love a ham and cheese omelet. So now I have to go to Denny's to get it across the freeway when I'd rather spend the money here in your place. You have great food. Sometimes, you know, we need to be a little flexible on that. And although I don't live here all the time, but since my father passed, I'm handling his estate. I'm in there quite a bit with my realtor, and, you know, people are very nice and friendly. But that was my input. I'm sorry if I went a little bit over 3 minutes, and that was my my input. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ken Johnson.
Master Board, FSR, CCL, residents here on Channel 97, Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. I'd like to provide some constructive feedback on 3 topics. I've been here several times, and I'm told to use message to management if I want to get something done. On October 2nd, I sent a message to management. To this date, I don't know what's happened to that message. It would be nice maybe if message to management could come back with a reply, and maybe you can use artificial intelligence to help say, we received your message, and at the next executive or the upcoming executive meeting, we'll present it to the board. So there must be some ways to help ensure why people should be using it and get encouragement that has been addressed. So I've done this before and had the same result. So it's kind of sad, and I know that that's the way that you want to funnel it. And I have to admit, it's probably pretty busy right now with budget and other scenarios, but hopefully your daily operational processes can go on when you still have those activities. So some feedback. RFI. Excuse me, I always get that wrong. You said it was going to be an RFP for management services. To me, it's an RFI. I'd like to suggest, and I've heard that you got several responses. I've heard that you are asked additional questions of the responding people, companies. Joe indicated maybe you're going to slow it down. I hope that maybe you can take some time and really do slow it down and come up with a matrix of how you're evaluating those proposals, and maybe ask some other people on a task force to help read them, to help provide some input. I'd be glad to volunteer to read an RFI. I'm just concerned about matrix, how you're evaluating them, so we don't get into the following setting. We're negotiating with CCL on a new agreement. That should have been part of the process of the first agreement, that you stay within budget. You have a budget scenario, and you have the ability to, if you made more money, you get to keep it, or if you made less, you have to eat it. I'm just concerned that we're still going too fast, and hopefully it isn't because you're working on towards a goal of getting rid of two vendors at the same time, CCL and FSR, and life will be uncanny if that ever happens. So again, I'd volunteer to do part of that process. Last item is Spectrum. I've been asking about Spectrum. Spectrum, $1,663,500 was given to, and you were able to negotiate. You've made that negotiation by moving it from FSR. You hired your attorney, you got more money. I'm really pleased that you got that money. But I would like to see how we're really going to use it. Is it going to be used to fix a whole bunch of problems that maybe shouldn't be fixed on some of them? Or we should do probably the following, and I know this is an agenda item later on. I think we ought to take $5 from that, away from our assessment we're going to probably have to go to in 2026, and take it away from the door fee. You owe it to the community. You couldn't really meet without us having to say okay. So taking $5 a month times 3,327 residential units comes to, over 12 months, $199,620. Why don't you use some of that money to help lower our fees? Thank you.
Ms. Janice Rice.
Good afternoon, Janice Rice. I live on Paradise Island Lane. Okay, it's on. I just want to urge our residents who use the restaurant, the sandwich, the lounge, and the veranda on Fridays and Saturday nights to please tip your wait staff. They're losing money because of that 18% that we took off. And it is a help. I understand that. It makes sense. But then we turn around and people are not tipping. And I do have this, and I put it on Facebook, and maybe I shouldn't have, but someone left a $10 tip on a $300 bill. Now, I will say that it was right after the change came in, and possibly they thought that 18% was still on there. And that makes sense to me, and I'm going to go with that was the reason. But we should always look at the bill. At the bottom, it says, it gives you 3 choices, whether you want to do 15, 18, or 20. And you can do as much as you want. But they're working hard for us. This is their livelihood. So if we don't respect them, we're going to lose them. And then we might get somebody that we don't like. The people here are fun. They're energetic. I enjoy them. It's one of the reasons I come on Fridays and Saturday nights. So please, tip the wait staff. It's not going to hurt you.
Ms. Sherry Bigby.
My heart is heavy because this is a hard subject.
Bring it down a little bit.
My heart is heavy. Can you hear it? Yeah. Closer? Okay. I'm breathy, yeah. My dog and I were walking 3 weeks ago, and she picked up something. I didn't see her pick it up, and she dropped it. And it was a little wax cylinder. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And I took her home, and I looked on the internet, and it was rat poison. And so I called Emergency in Redlands, and they said, get right in. And then they told me to call the ASPCA, Animal Poison Control Center. And I talked to them on the way in, and I described it, and they said it was extremely deadly. It can take out the kidneys. Another chemical will take out the central nervous system, and the third chemical in it will cause internal bleeding. And she said to get there, and they would work together on my dog. Even a little tiny bit of it could kill an animal. So I got her there, and she went through. They emptied her stomach. They gave her charcoal, a whole bunch of charcoal in her tummy so that it would absorb the poison if it had gotten into her, which it possibly could have. And also they gave fluid under the skin, and she was about this big when I took her home, and I had to wait for 3 days before I knew whether she would die or not. And she had a couple of up and down episodes. And then on the third day, I just have to tell you all this so you'd know, I took her in, and she had her blood panels, and she's okay. So it's just like wonderful, but oh, yeah. And I need to tell you that rat pellets, hello, rat pellets are illegal. They have been since 2011. The EPA made it illegal, so you cannot use them at all in residences. Also, the blocks that people are using, they're putting them, rather than in a, it's called a little bait station, they're putting them under like bushes, and that's very illegal. And you can pay a lot of money in fines for those things. There are so many laws in California against using these two things, like that. The poisons, rat poisons, are just things that you don't want to get involved in at all. And so, in 2005, that came through. The block poisons were outlawed, when they're outside of the bait stations. And also, there's just a brand new law in California. It's a $25,000 fine if you use it's called the Poison Free Wildlife Act, and if you use some of the rat poisons on your lawn, you will be assessed that. So here's the thing that's a problem too. People are buying these things online, and they don't know. There's a lot of third-party vendors that are slipping into Amazon and different places. So people will buy these, and they think it's okay, and if it's on Amazon and it's fine to use, it isn't. So my suggestion, I came up with and I don't know if you could ever use it, but it's a public service announcement, and I was hoping we could give it to all of our residents here, and they're really great people here. But some people are just doing the wrong thing. And here's what I wrote. Let's keep our community safe. Did you know that rat poison pellets are illegal? Using them in your yard can put pets, wildlife, and children at great risk. It can also bring legal liability and large fines. Please use safe, non-toxic methods for rodent control, sealing entry points, clearing debris, removing food sources, and calling a professional. Thanks to your efforts, we can all enjoy a safer neighborhood. So I just hope maybe some way that can be out to the different residents. I'm nervous. Okay, thank you.
Mr. David Keeley.
Good evening, Master Board, residents on Channel 97 that are tuned in, and FSR, and residents here in the room, David Marshall Keeley, District 12, Laguna Seca Court. And if you enjoy Sun Lake's life that comes to our homes every couple of weeks, Anita Lawrence had an invitation next Thursday. The annual grant presentation for the Sun Lakes Charity is going to take place here on the veranda at 5 o'clock. If you'd like to see 29 charities this year that are going to receive $79,000, it's good to see them. We enjoy making these presentations every fall. Thank you, Michelle, for heading this up the last couple of years, and it's going to be a good evening. We look forward to seeing more people come out. It's on the veranda. We don't have it in the ballroom because it's a lot easier for people to come. And we just really encourage you to come and to meet the people that are going to receive the grants. We have a grant distribution committee that works on presentation, on receiving the grant requests. All the local charities that made a request were not approved, but we go through that process and we're thorough about it and evaluating their need, and we have a balanced portfolio of the charities that we support. There's feeding, there's hospital, there's other kinds of categories that we try to keep it balanced in the amount of money that we give. This all started in the early days of Sun Lakes Country Club, and it started supporting the hospital. And they, to this day, continue to be the largest recipient. We don't give the same amount of that $79,000 divided by 29 because the grant requests vary a lot. And so the hospital, though, I'd like to tell you, because it's important to all of us, we typically respond to their needs for equipment, and that helps all of us. So thank you very much, and come on out next Thursday, Veranda, 5 o'clock. A week, 30th, October 30. Thank you.
Miss Michelle Walters. Walter, excuse me, Miss Walter.
There are two of us, but it's Walter. Good afternoon, everyone. Michelle Walter with Community Awareness. I just wanted to let you know our next event is going to be on Tuesday, November 4th. It's One Legacy Donors for Organs. A single donor can offer a second chance at life for thousands of Americans each year. So I hope you come out and come and see the presentation. I've got some wonderful speakers, and I know they're going to have some giveaways. So please come out and support them. Thank you.
Miss Marcia Midget.
Thank you. I know it's no secret that the board has RFPs out for a new management company. The board really has never given the members a concrete reason why this is being done. Is it a personality conflict between the current board and the top management of FSR? If that is so, is that a reason to change to a different company when FSR has done everything the board has directed them to do? What has FSR not done for the community that has our best interest at heart? As a past board member, I have been involved in yearly contract negotiations with First Service, so I'm familiar with the process. The management fee has not increased since 2021. In 2023, the payroll burden rate on the employees was cut from 6% to 4%. They have been on top of the monthly financials, getting them out to the community in a timely manner set by the board. Previous management companies could not do that. Past history with previous companies does not compare to the performance of FSR. Sun Lakes Country Club is basically a small city. The familiarity of those who oversee the day-to-day operations is critical in maintaining the standards which have been set by former boards, the CCRs, and our governing documents. I would guess you are being lured by other companies promising you the world. Can they really deliver what they promise? That would be better than what FSR is doing now. All I ask is that you do your fiduciary responsibility and communicate with the members as you go through this process. Thank you.
Miss Anita Lawrence.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Master Board for Service Residential and fellow residents. I'm Anita Lawrence, and I'm here today to address the concerns I have to the Master Board who are considering bringing in another management company to manage our homeowners association. My husband and I have lived here for 27 years and have seen numerous management companies come and go. Recently, a survey was sent out to the residents for which over 1,200 surveys were returned with one, and let me repeat, one complaint about First Service. My question to the board, Why do you want to replace them? Have you spoken to residents who are managed by the different companies you are considering bringing in to get their perspective on how a particular management company is performing? Today, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 of our 5 board members have lived here less than 8 years, but are considering bringing in another management company. They do not have the knowledge or know the history of this community. We currently have dedicated First Service employees with many years of service. For example, Tammy Morgan has been here for over 30 years and possesses a wealth of Sun Lake's history and knowledge. Bringing in a new company will not ensure these valued employees will be able to transition to the new company and stay to provide the continuity of service that we enjoy with them working directly on site. In some cases, a new management company may not offer on-site management services, and if a resident has a problem that needs to be addressed, you may very well find yourself calling them where they are located, which could possibly be in another state. And bringing in another company does not always solve problems. It could very well create new ones, such as much higher HOA fees and less service than we currently have. Do you know or do you like how the golf courses are maintained? There's no guarantee that the outstanding team who now maintain these valuable assets, and it is an asset, will still be here if a new company is brought in. I'm not saying First Service is perfect. No company is perfect. But wouldn't it be easier to work and resolve any differences you may have as a board with people you know, rather than to bring in an entity that you don't know? Residents, if you feel as I do, I urge you to speak with a master board member and ask them to consider retaining First Service Residential. Making changes is not always for the better.
Mr. Paul Scott.
Good afternoon, everyone, especially the homeowners. Thank you. I have a couple of questions. One about bingo. I'm not sure what the board's intent is doing for the bingo people, but I know we started having to pay for it. How many other clubs that are part of this organization or in this community that pay a fee to use their halls? That's a good one. Second, homeowner fees. They're going up again. I know there's a proposal for a $55 a month or a $50 a month program for food credits, and if you don't use it, you lose it. What is going on? Why can't the board make some decisions, maybe open up the golf course to outside people? You know, you lose more money on the golf course than you do any other entity in this community. Thank you.
Miss Gail Bliley? Billy? Billy. Sorry, Gail.
That's all right. Not many people can get Billy correct, so that's all right. I wanted to speak today. I'm Gail Billy from District 7. On behalf of people who have signed up for the dog park for this year. After I went through the role of getting through everything done right, more than once, more than 3 times to the vet, back to Chelsea several times, finally finished it all yesterday due to personal issues that I couldn't get here sooner. After it was all paid, she goes, oh, by the way, it's only good for 2 months. The dues of $25 is only good for the rest of this year. In January, you have to repay $25 again. I'm sorry, either give us an anniversary date to renew, or, as most of the clubs around here do, give us a grace period for the rest of this year and have that $25 apply to next year. My guy loves it, loves that park. I don't want to not have him in it, but $25 for 2 months just doesn't cut it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to reports, Executive General Manager, Chris.
Jason was going to time me on that, or, okay. Actually, I am going to forego my report as I will be talking about the budget, doing a presentation, but I would like to just take one moment for some recognition. Over 9 years, I've had the privilege and complete honor to work with one member of my team that I have become friends with, relied on. This person has been the right-hand support, and I want to recognize him as Jason Ewalls. He has been through and I know a lot of members, you only see the front face, you don't always see what's happened. There's always two sides of every story, two sides of every coin. We have been here through COVID, being sequestered in our offices, wearing masks in our offices, still on site. One of the first properties to do in-person meetings in 2020. No one else, no other management company was doing that. We went, Jason and I, through the ups and downs of food and beverage, out there bussing tables, serving alcohol. One gentleman even probably 1/3 the size of Jason's height, yelling at Jason why he didn't give him a better pour on his beer. I still don't, Jason again was very calm, and just said, this is the jigger, this is how I pour it. We've had a lot of good times. We've gone through a lot of bad times, but I want to recognize that Jason has been the Rock of Gibraltar for me, one of the best assistant general managers I've ever had. He will be leaving us November 14th, and I wish him the best in his new endeavors. He should be getting the $50 gift card too, but we're exempt from that. Sorry, Michelle, we got to talk about that later. Oh, there's my 3-minute word. But again, I just want to recognize that, Jason, it has been a complete honor working with you, and I'm going to miss you, but I know it's a move for the better, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys, it's been a run. Hey, I'm a big guy, but you know what? I can cry too, you know? This is the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my 20 years of professional career, but it wasn't made lightly. Decisions, talking with my family, and the fact that it'll take me, if I hit 2 red lights, 5 minutes to get to work, was kind of the big decision, and being able to spend more time with my son in the afternoons. So I love you guys, and thank you for the 12 years. I still have family here, so I won't be a stranger. I'll be back. But I just thank you guys for all the memories. And to the board and staff, I love all you guys, and thank you for everything. All right, now I got to read my report. Yes, you do. All right, as I do for my last time here, you guys, I'll give you guys the info on what took place at the executive sessions that were held by the board. These meetings took place on October 6th and the 22nd, at which time litigation, member discipline, formation of contracts, and personnel matters were discussed. With member matters, the board approved the house account receivables as of September 30th, as well as the assessment account receivables as of September 30th, 2025. The board approved the delinquency report. The board reviewed 3 requests for an annual golf refund. The board reviewed 1 request for a fee waiver. They reviewed 2 MAC appeals. The board reviewed 1 request for a payment plan, and the board reviewed a few letters from members. With legal, the board reviewed and approved the executive session minutes from September 24th. The board received several updates from legal. The board approved to send the following to the collections attorney to begin the foreclosure process, and that's on APN 440-340-027, APN 440-020-013, APN 419-330-059, APN 419-320-071, and APN 440-040-0818. The board also approved to send the following accounts to the collection attorney to foreclose on the lien and record the notice of default, and that is on APN 440-150-016, APN 419-320-045, and APN 419-410-021. With the formation of contracts, the board received several updates from the management company on several items and discussed the progress on a number of projects. The board met with Carla Chung with FFI to discuss the investments. The board approved Ty, the Inspectors of Election, to be the Inspectors of Election for the 2026 board and delegate elections. The board met with a group that is interested in purchasing the homes held by HUD so that the association can recoup the money owed to them. The board approved to move forward with the process of changing the governing documents to make electronic voting the primary method starting in 2027. The board reviewed and discussed the 2026 budget. The board met with CCL. The board reviewed and will renew the contract with Carlos Carts for 2026 with a rate increase. The board approved to move forward with renovating the remaining bunkers on the championship course with earth sculptors for the project and TL trucking for the sand in the amount not to exceed $456,000. This will be funded from the repair and replacement fund. The board approved redoing the 4 par 3 white tees on the championship course with earth sculptors for an amount not to exceed $20,000. Again, funded from the repair and replacement fund. The board met with representatives from Brown & Brown Insurance and received several updates from them. The board received and filed the project activity report, as well as the investment activity report and the quarterly turnover report. The board approved working with management starting in November to create a strategic plan. The board approved the bid from J.P. Bostic to complete the roadwork project for this year for $595,313. This will be funded from the repair and replacement fund, and 95% of this is all in the sub-association. So all those parking lots and everything will be taken care of. The board reviewed and approved the September to October narrative and analytic from Securitas, and both of those will be placed online. And finally, the board approved the following meeting dates for November and December due to the holidays. There will be an executive session and open session on November 19th. The open session, they will go dark in December, but they will hold an executive session on December 10th. And that completes the executive action report. Thank you, everyone.
Jason, we're going to miss you, buddy. Thank you. Okay, Mike, Community Patrol update.
FSR, board members, district delegates, and Sun Lakes, thank you for having me. My reporting period is going to be for September 15th through October 15th. I'm going to go over the major incident review. The report highlights the most significant incidents that impacted our community safety during this period. The categories that I'm going to go over reflect the areas of heightened concern and operational focus. Police called. We had 0 incidents this period that required officers to contact law enforcement. All situations encountered by our team were effectively managed on site through de-escalation and clear communication. This reflects positively on the professionalism and preparedness of our officers who continue to resolve matters without needing external assistance. Our takeaway, while calls to police remain an important option when community safety is at risk, it is encouraging to note that none were required this month, a sign that most incidents were contained and managed appropriately by security staff. Confrontations, we had 2 confrontations reported. These were primarily verbal disputes, either between residents or involving unknown individuals near the property. The majority occurred during evening or overnight hours when tensions often escalate more quickly. Examples of confrontations include disputes with trespassers near the community access points, residents challenging each other over the use of facilities, individuals questioning officers' authority during our patrol checks. None of these events required any physical intervention, but one incident was elevated almost close to law enforcement for additional support. Thankfully, we didn't have to go that far, though. We were able to retain that within our department. Officers continue to rely on de-escalation practices and consistent body camera use to ensure accountability and transparency. Suspicious activity. Suspicious activity saw a notable decline this period, with only 5 documented cases compared to the 25 that we saw last month, folks. So this represents a substantial improvement and may indicate that increased patrol visibility and resident awareness are having a positive impact. Most incidents continued to occur after dark and were quickly addressed by our responding officers. Some examples were vehicles observed lingering near closed facilities or gate areas, individuals walking in low visibility zones after hours, or residents reporting unfamiliar persons near community buildings. While none of these cases escalated to direct threats, Each was taken seriously and investigated promptly. Officers continue to monitor areas previously identified as high activity zones to ensure the downward trend continues. Trespassing incidents also decreased this period, with only 2 confirmed cases compared to the 5 of last month. Both involved unauthorized individuals entering restricted areas without approval. Each occurrence took place during overnight hours and was resolved swiftly by security officers without the need of any outside assistance. Observations: the decrease suggests the improved perimeter awareness and effective patrol coverage. However, as seasonal foot traffic and evening activity increases, the team will continue maintaining heightened vigilance around access points and common areas. Our observations this reporting period reflects a positive trend in overall community safety. Severe incidents have decreased across nearly all categories, with suspicious activity dropping from 25 to 5 reports and trespassing reduced from 5 to 2. No police assistance was required this month, underscoring the team's ability to effectively manage and resolve issues internally. Most incidents that did occur concentrated during the overnight hours from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., which is a pattern consistent with prior months. Enhanced patrol visibility and stronger community reporting appear to be contributing factors to the decline in activity levels. Security actions and improvements. We're going to continue emphasis on the de-escalation and conflict resolution training to maintain professionalism and ensure calm, controlled outcomes. Overnight patrol coverage has been reinforced in historically high activity zones to sustain this downward trend. Ongoing use of our vision reporting system and body-worn cameras ensure the transparency and accurate incident documentation, and encouragement of resident participation through timely reporting continues to be a vital part of maintaining proactive community safety. In closing, I want to thank you for taking the time to review the report with me. The noticeable reduction in incident volume demonstrates the effectiveness of the current patrol strategies and the strong partnership between the security team and the residents that we serve. While our goal is always to maintain 0 critical incidents, this month's outcomes show meaningful progress towards that objective. The team remains focused on prevention, visibility, and communication, ensuring that every concern, no matter how small, is addressed promptly and professionally. Together, through continued awareness and cooperation, we're fostering a safer and more connected community, one shift at a time. Thank you for your time, folks.
Thank you. Sub-associations. Anyone from the sub-associations? Mary Jo? No? Okay. District Delegate, Assembly, Chairman, Cal.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cal Martin, and I am currently the chair of the Delegate Assembly. I'm going to digress from what I was going to start with, simply because I've heard a lot of comments from residents that are directed at the board in anger. Please see if we can be civil about what we say, because if you're not civil, the message is lost in the anger, and people just react from the anger. So it would be helpful if we could avoid those things. Actually, it's just an intellectual exercise that we're all involved in here. Okay, so the thing that is most pressing right now down at the DDA is that we kind of need people. So some of the great community spirit that's out there, you could push some of it right into the Delegate Assembly, and everybody would be better for it. Right now, we are missing delegates and alternates in Districts 2 and Districts 11, and we are missing primary delegates in District 16 and in District 11. Two. So, anyway, please consider serving the community in which you live. If you do not like the way something is conducted, you can't sit passively on the sidelines and not be willing to change it yourself. Get involved. When I got involved, it's amazing what I learned about how this place operates. You think it's simple that one person can say, hey, the decision is done and the next day it happens. It does not work that way. When it works well, but it does not work that way because the board decides for 5,000 plus people, and it has to be right. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Cal. City of Banning, Mayor. Thanks, Cal.
Hello, board, residents, and management. I have a lot to say. I'm going to talk about the worst first, which is the utility increases on our rates. We had to make the difficult decision of raising rates. They're not as bad as they were going to be. They were going to be 22, 22, 3, 3, and 3 in the next 5 years. They're 20, 16, 1, 1, and 1%, but that's only if we need them. So we will raise them November 1st, 20%, and then 16% the next November 1st, and then 1, 1, and 1. And this is required because our bond rating is in junk bond rating, our utilities. They could call them, and we could be taken over by the state and shut down. We had overspending in the last 5 years. People thought we had money that we didn't. And so that is coming back to haunt us. There was no rate study done in over 10 years. There was never a rate increase except in 2013. We should have had small rate increases every couple of years, and then we wouldn't have these huge rate increases now that are facing people that really don't deserve to have their rates raised. But we really have no choice, and we've looked at this for months and months, and this appears to be the best solution, if you can call it a solution. So also the billing issues, I have been assured that it will be resolved by December. I am hoping that it will be. I don't have any control of that. That was a whole type of IT problem, and we're going back to our old IT, and we've hired a lot of new people, but they've got to be trained to push that billing out. So that should be hopefully resolved by December. The animal shelter, just a little quick update. I'm on an ad hoc committee with Cindy Barrington, and we meet with Beaumont, Calamasa, Morongo, the county supervisor. We meet every couple of weeks for the last, 6 months. And we're now at a point where we are, the city has its old shelter at Charles Street, and we're going to do a facility assessment study and conceptual layout and look at recommendations. We've sent out an RFP. We have 6 proposals, and they range from $122,000 to $217,000 to get the Charles shelter up to at least where it can hold animals when we find animals and take care of them until we have a permanent solution, which we're working on, which would be a pass area shelter. We have the supervisor involved, Morongo, the shelter, county shelter itself. We're looking at doing a JPA. Also now Calamasa is interested, Hemet, San Jacinto, Yucaipa. So we're all looking at joining together and having a permanent shelter in the pass area. And so that's the direction we're going. We're going to have an MOU brought to each city's council in December to discuss a JPA and whether we want to go with the county and their expertise. I think we can't do it without some help from the county, especially monetary. Also, we have a national search going on for a new city manager, also an HR director and a finance director. The homeless situation at Opportunity Village, the council had asked to close that or directed to close out in June, and it's now finally being closed with 90 days notice, which was given a couple weeks ago, and we are working with county and state and city groups to get these people services that will be removed so they're not just put out onto the street. We also have 4 houses where we put in the homeless, and we are looking for more to do that because we still have somewhat left of the grant. But we did not get the 3rd round of grant to keep Opportunity Village open. We were spending $600,000 a year in salaries, and we have no money to keep that open anymore. So we are going to be closing it. We did approve a cannabis grow on John Street near the 10 freeway. It's not near homes, it's in industrial zoning. And in 2018, if you're around, Measure N was passed to allow this to happen. I am not a cannabis person. I think it leads to other hard drugs, but you have to do, people voted for it, and that's what you have to do. And this group did above and beyond. Of course, it has to be enforced because of odors. Odors is the biggest issue. And so we've had kind of lax enforcement. So that's got to have some teeth behind it, up to closing them down if the odors are, you can't have any odors at all. So if, we have to do fines and code enforcement, things like that. So that's going to be emphasized. Also, we are, just Sunset Crossroads is going to come to the council in December. And then there's also ongoing litigation with Banning Point. A settlement was offered to Sun Lakes Highland. They turned it down. The next meetings are going to be October 28th. And then we have only one meeting November 11th and one meeting December 9th in those months. And we also are having our State of the City, and it's a new state law that you must allow all citizens to be able to attend because it's pricey and expensive. So it will be live streamed on YouTube, and it is on November 5th from 11:30 to 2 p.m. at Morongo. And good news is, I don't know if anyone noticed, but we have a Farm to Fork restaurant that's going to open at the old Jitters building on Ramsey and San Gregonio. It's going to be healthy food, and they're going to have the upstairs, as they'd like to have like a club up there. And then also we're looking at getting an independent ice cream store across the street on Ramsey, across from the Fox Theater that they're coming in. So we have a lot of exciting things coming on, and more in the future. So I think that's it. And thank you very much.
Mayor, I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
The management team, at my direction, I requested that we set a meeting up with the current city manager to discuss some of the issues that we have with the city, such as the 56% increase over a 3-year period in electricity and our water bill. Is there any way that you could assist us in pushing that along to where we can sit with the city manager and discuss those issues?
Sure. I'm talking with him tonight at 5 p.m.
Thank you
I'll
so
bring
much.
it up to him.
Appreciate that very much.
I know there's a lot of issues with the electric. I personally have issues. I need to talk to him about my electric bill, which was sky high, and my water bill is sky high. That didn't make any sense. So there's still, and if anyone has problems with their water or electric bill, please send it to me, because I'm comparing mine. You have a year now. Mine in June, July, and August was sky high. I usually have 3 CCFs on water. I had 26. And when I got the new bill, it said last year I had 4. But they billed me 26. So I'm talking to the city manager about that, because that could be happening here, where you were billed sky high, and now you should look at your bills and see, what are they claiming you got what you had last year, because they're not lining up.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
We just like to have a sit down with him.
Yeah, that's
or
fine.
her, and potentially
It's him,
be part of
yeah.
the antidote to the problem
Yeah, Art
versus
Bella.
complain about the problem.
He's very personable, and I'm sure he would sit down with you, and it wouldn't be a problem. So
Thank-
I'll talk to him tonight and let him know.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, Gary, treasurer's report.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Burkle. I'm Sun Lake's treasurer. Can you hear me?
No. Maybe bring it closer.
Should be on. There we go. Again, I'm Gary Burkle. I'm Sun Lake's treasurer, and thank you all for coming today. We have a pretty good crowd. Nice to see everybody's interested in what the master board is up to. Anyway, this is the treasurer's report for on the September financial statements. In September, this is an overview of the operating fund sort of financial highlights. In September, we actually had a loss of $145,341, and we have a year-to-date loss of $45,964. September, October tend to be tough months for us, but things tend to turn around in November and December when we have more activity going on, especially in food and beverage. At the end of September, we had $2,741,605 in the operating fund cash account, and on that same date, September 30th, we had outstanding bills of $2,413,337. Cash and receivables actually exceeded outstanding bills, so money that we have available to pay bills exceeded outstanding bills by $489,567. Payable at the end of September to First Service is $669,992. Oops. So this is the overview of the operating fund income statement for September. So as you can see, and as I always say, your monthly dues go into this account, and in September we collected $1,086,638, and that's actually right on budget. You can see year to date we're $8 under budget, so that amount is pretty predictable and it's right on budget. The other revenue is miscellaneous revenue, rental from RVs and things like that, and we're actually better than budget by $94,914. Utilities are still under budget, but that's actually being made up. People ask about the Spectrum incentive door fee we received, the $1,600,000. That actually is income to us, and we're reporting that over the 5-year period. So in the other revenue, there's about $23,000 a month that's being picked up from that incentive payment. The other, probably, as you can see, the items in red on the right are the items that are not meeting budget. And for the month and for the year, what happens is we collect the dues, and those dues go to cover the HOA expenses, which you can see the whole list there, utilities, all the way down to administration. Then what's left is available to cover the amenity costs for the golf course and food and beverage. So you can see those amenities are, the budget is for them to have a loss, as you can see there. Golf is $200,294 within budget, so we are making budget with golf. On the other hand, food and beverage, which remains to be a continuing drain on our cash, is over budget by $459,000. There was a question somebody asked about our contract amendment with CCL. That's still in negotiation, and actually the amendment that's up on the website has been reversed. It should be taken down. We actually decided to reverse that amendment, and we're working on another one that will take into account the fixed fees for the remainder of the year and for 2026. This is actually And as I mentioned, the losses in food and beverage. So this is the loss, the budget for food and beverage for September and the actual loss in September. The biggest negative, so to speak, is the sales. We're just not achieving anywhere close to what we expect in sales. So people are just not using the food and beverage venues as we would expect. So the sales were budgeted for 200,000 for September. They were actually 125,000, and so they were a shortfall of 74,000. And you can see that sort of carries to the bottom line. And we're 113,539 under budget for the month. This is a comparison of where we stood income-wise for the last 3 years. So at September 30th of 2020, we actually had a net surplus of $132,553. At the end of September last year, we actually were in a deficit. And last year, we ended the year with a deficit of over 800,000. So through September of this year, and this is overall taken into account all the dues, all the expenses paid, and the golf and the food and beverage, we have a net loss of $49,964. This is just a current ratio analysis. So what the blue, and this is July, August, and September, and you can see that we're sort of in a decline, or we are in a decline, where our the blue column is our what we have available to pay bills. The red column is our outstanding bills, and the net is shown in the third column. So you can see that that's decreasing every month, and we, it's something we have to address. Let's put it that way. The repair and replacement fund in September, that is the other place where the dues go. The dues go into the, as we said, into the operating fund. The remainder of the dues go into this repair and replacement fund. So in September, we put $194,150 in. We had the reserve replenishment income for the month was $48,510. Investment income was $67,402, and expenditures were $51,000. And at the end of September, we had $12,984,000 cash in the reserve fund. Thank you, Jason. So the capital improvement fund, which is our other fund, just has minimal activity. It has $2,130 of investment income and expenditures of $34,000, and it had a cash balance of $1,052,000. That's my report. The rest, Jason, I'm not going to go over this afternoon. So anyway, thank you very much. If you have a question, you can email me. Thank you.
Food and beverage, CCL.
Good afternoon, Master Board members, First Service Residential. Thank you for having us here today. We have a couple of updates. We are happy to announce that the mobile and to-go ordering is making forward progress, and we are set to go live early to mid-November. And please keep an eye out for additional information on how to sign up for your account and where the pickup location will be. And I also wanted to share that we have a new revised catering menu available. There have been price adjustments for drop-off options, and some price adjustments have been made to the menu items, and other menu items are adjusted based on member feedback and the data collected from what's been ordered. We always have custom options available for you, so if you need something that's not available on the catering menu, please meet with one of our team members, and we'll be happy to build a custom menu for you. And you can view our catering menu on the dining website page. If you go to sunlakescountryclub.com and click on dining, there is a catering tab at the top, and you can see the most recent menu. And I also have an unfortunate announcement to make, and that is the resignation of Letty. She is leaving us at the end of the month to move to New Mexico. Her 4 children and all her grandchildren are there, so she's very saddened to leave Sun Lakes because of all of the wonderful relationships she's had, but it's time for her and her mom to go spend time with her family. And I will pass this to Javier for an additional update.
Perfect. Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR members. So thank you again for the time to be able to give you some updates here. I just want to let you know also we have the Halloween party. The tickets are still available for for October 31st. And that's $22 to enter. So you have first access to the tables on that date. Remember that the actual entertainment will be actually here inside the ballroom as well. So if you want to get first dibs on those tables, take advantage of that. We also have the Thanksgiving menu that's going out, as well as the Thanksgiving to-go option for those residents or members that would like to take advantage of that. It will be available, and so just please be on the lookout for that information as well. The Thanksgiving buffet tickets will be also on sale effective November 4th. The adults will be $39.95, children's 5 to 12 will be $19.95, and anybody who would like to have endless mimosa will also be available on that menu as well. And then we have a new holiday menu that came out, and it's in addition to our regular menu. So that's something that is available for those members that would like to have special events for the holidays, for those delegates that are having their parties. Glance at that menu, please, when you get a chance, if you can. There's a buffet option, a plated option, and then we can work with you as far as like if there's something like Rachel said, custom. Most residents, of members have been coming to us and asking for customization of menus, and we will work with you. So happy to do that. With Letty leaving, obviously we will definitely miss her after 14 years of being here. I mean, only been here with us for a short period of time, but definitely she has built some great relationships with everybody here, and we definitely will miss her. But we'll be still calling her, here and here, get some information from her. But with that said, in the meantime. The plan is that I will be taking over that spot with the assistant of Alberto, obviously, but I'll be if any catering needs, please come directly to me, and then we are already in the search of that individual to replace Letty. So, that's pretty much that. Again, thank you for your continued support. And I know that if there's opportunities that we do experience in the restaurant, by all means do email me. I know somebody mentioned in regards to the emails to management. If you do happen to send me an email, I'll be the first one to answer you back or call you back. And for those that have emailed me, you can attest that I'm the first one that will call you back, no matter what. It may take me a couple of days, but I will call you back to ensure that I touch base with you and kind of get all the information, because a lot of times, like I said, there's two sides to the story, but I want to make sure that I hear, what happened, what the situation was, and to address it so we can make the corrections. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Javier.
Thank you.
Okay, quarterly committee meetings. We'll start with the bingo advisory. Okay, we'll go on to common area.
I have a letter here from the chair of the committee.
Okay.
The Common Area Advisory Committee did their monthly inspection of the common areas within Sun Lakes in October and want to thank the operations staff for their prompt resolution of most of the issues we brought up. Upon request from our board liaison, we reviewed all the reserve items relating to the common area, given our opinion on the need for replacing in the 2026 or to defer until later. And signed, Doug Swenson, Chair.
Thank you. EPAP.
Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR, and fellow residents. We had our annual drill last Thursday. There were 16 districts that participated in the drill, the 7 that did not participate did not have EPAP coordinators and/or district delegates. The total number of residents that put their yellow placards in the window was 58%. This is a little higher than the last couple of years. We offered 6 drill training sessions throughout the month of September. We advertised these training sessions on Channel 97, Good Day Sun Lakes, and Sun Lakes EPAP on Facebook. During a real event, these are the places that you can find information. We also used the ICS, Incident Command System, forms for the first time. These are the same forms that FEMA, Emergency Management Department of Riverside Police and Fire Department use in their disaster. The benefits to using these forms are when first responders finally get to us, we will have all the information they need already on forms that they use. So if you are injured, you'll be logged into a form that they are familiar with and can immediately start treating you for your medical issues. During the drill, our radio communications team, excuse me, communicated with our EPAP residents on the handheld radios. We talked with ham radio operators within Sun Lakes that are not part of EPAP. They also communicated with ham radio operators from other cities around this area. The communications outside of Sun Lakes gives us valuable information about damage and statuses of communities around us. We will not have EPAP 101 in the months of November or December. We will begin again in January 2026. We are working on some interesting and informative topics for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance Committee? Golf Advisory Committee?
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Callahan, Chairman of the Golf Advisory Committee. The GAC would like to remind golfers to use any script or book credit earned in 2024 by the end of the year to avoid expiration on December 31st, 2025. Script earned throughout 2025 is good till next year and will expire December 31st of 2026. Aeration of the greens on both courses has been completed. Top dressing of the greens is currently ongoing after being delayed a week because of rain. The practice green near the sand wedge on the championship course is closed for maintenance. Roundup was applied around the perimeter of the green to stop invasive Bermuda and Kikuyu runners from spreading into the green. This green is roped off to prevent tracking Roundup onto the green. Maintenance then will level out this area and resod this area, basically bringing this green back up to the condition it was back 20 years ago. Golf maintenance is currently overseeding the driving range during October and November. The south side of the green is growing in very nicely and is scheduled to reopen on October 27th, at which time the north side will close until the end of November. The first priority of the GAC is to address safety concerns to golfers and residents, especially those with homes bordering on the golf course. Our second priority is to maintain playability for golfers and a beautiful landscape for all residents. In making recommendations, the GAC is guided by the reserve study and often takes time to provide a prioritized list to the master board. This allows the board to make informed decisions regarding the scope of the work and allows them to stay within budget.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Library Advisory.
I'm John. I'm John, Chairman of the Library Committee. We completed the reorganization of all 4 libraries. They look great. We got a lot of compliments. We added classics, and we bought more puzzles, more books, and we received several donations. I have 4 application volunteers for the committee. I think we'll have a full committee. Been a long time. And we keep books no older than 2010 for more space, and that's all I can say. Everything's looking good. The libraries are looking great, and they're finally organized. Books are right in the right genres, and the volunteers are doing a great job. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Lifestyles? Marketing, Miss Walter.
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, Michelle Walter, Marketing Committee. Is he here? Well, we'll see. I wanted to let you know that the Marketing Committee picks a Employee of the Month, and this month, I'm still looking. I'm not sure that he's here. I don't think he's here. Is Jim Van Messel here? Jim? No? Okay, well, he is our Employee of the Month, and I'll just give a little. This month, we are proud to spotlight Jim Van Messel, a highly valued member of our golf operation team here at Sun Lakes. Jim works primarily in the executive golf shop 4 days a week, where his professionalism, positive attitude, and commitment to serving our members truly stand out. A former member of both the Citrus Club and the Plantation in Palm Desert, Jim understands the culture and expectations of a private country club and brings that same level of excellence to our community. Jim is known for being exceptionally organized and reliable, member-focused and personable, always on time and ready to help, accurate and dependable with inventory completed by the first of every month, a growing leader in golf tournament operations. In addition to his daily responsibility, Jim proudly serves as a golf professional for both the Ladies Executive Golf and the Men's Executive Golf Club, where he has quickly earned the respect of players and staff alike. Jim is more than a great employee, he is a great teammate. He has strong work ethic, integrity, and dedication, make him a pleasure to work with. On a personal note, his Detroit sports loyalty earns bonus points with me. Sun Lakes is truly fortunate to have Jim as a part of our team, and we are grateful for everything he does to make our golf operations successful. Please join us in congratulating Jim and thanking him for his outstanding contributions. I have his $50. So just to let you know again, don't forget there are slips of paper in the lobby, restaurant, lounge, and sandwich for residents to fill out for an employee whom they feel should be recognized for their job performance. Again, this can be anyone from maintenance, the pro shop, monitors, restaurant staff, and administration. Some people in administration. We would have totally given that to Jason. We had our welcome home on October 16th in the ballroom. We had 59 new homeowners and 8 clubs attend. It was a very good turnout. The homeowners all gave their stories and why they moved to Sun Lakes. It's very interesting. I know Janice was able to be part of that. The following are the stats and home sales in Sun Lakes from October 1st through October 22nd. Active or coming soon, 9 condos, prices from $289 to $329. 63 homes, prices from $279 to $549. I don't know where you buy a home for $279,000 in a community like ours. In escrow, 2 condos, $269,800 to $375. 21 homes, prices from $289,800 to $539. Closed escrows were 13. 11 homes, prices $340 to $525. 2 condos, prices from $320 to $369. So if you take our 2310 times 13, Gary, we are getting $30,030, depending if all were new home buyers. In September, we only had 10 that closed, so that was about $23,100. So we're still getting that money in there. Thank you.
Master Architect, Architectural.
Good afternoon, Board and residents. I'm Roy Neerman, Chairman of the Architectural Committee. When each of us bought a home here in Sun Lakes, we signed many papers at escrow. And one of those papers we signed was that we realized that there were covenants and conditions in living in Sun Lakes, and there were rules and regulations, and we agreed that we read them, we understood them, and that we would abide by them. Anyway, for the past 15 months, we've been sending out notices concerning painting of trim, painting of houses, because we got behind because of COVID. Well, the time of sending out the notices for people to paint has long gone by. Now we're going to start sending out violations, probably for the next 6 months. That's for those people who either didn't get the word or who got the word and decided that the rules and regulations don't abide or aren't for them. So please, we don't like to fine people. We don't like to restrict your privileges. Please fill out an application and bring your house up to the painting standards. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Recreation.
Well, this has been an interesting meeting. I've enjoyed it. I'm Evelyn Hawkins, and I'm the vice chair of our Recreation Committee. We talk about activities, a lot of activities, and we have a lot of things coming up. Starting with Saturday, we're going to have a doggy parade, and that is absolutely, if you haven't seen it, it's really, really cute. People dress up their dogs like you wouldn't believe in Halloween costumes, and it is judged by the committee, and we also are judging, as we speak, the committee is judging the homes that have been decorated for Halloween, and those winners will be announced at the doggy parade on Saturday at 3 p.m. Coming up, we have some events. A craft fair is November 7th and 8th here in the ballroom. Comedy night is November the 14th. Veterans Walk is November the 15th, and that's for everybody in Sun Lakes. You don't have to walk fast, you just have to walk. And anyone that is that would like to be a part of this committee, you can apply. We do have a little room now, and you can apply by picking up an application and filling it out and turning it in to the recreation office. So you can talk to Linda Vang if you want more information on that. So come out and participate in some of our activities. We have a good time. It's a good way to get acquainted with other folks that have like interests.
Thank you. RV storage?
Good afternoon, board, administration, and residents. Don't have a lot to report, as we didn't have a committee meeting in September, as a lot of our members were traveling. We have our next meeting on the 28th of this month, which will be reviewing and kind of finalizing upcoming leases for 26. We also have been planning our new stickering of the vehicles in the RV lot for next year, which will be the first and second Monday in January at 9 a.m. We have added one new member for the upcoming year to the existing committee, pending board approval, for replace one committee member that's leaving. Lot vacancies have improved, as we have only 3 spots left, And we'll be meeting with another person on Friday for verification and another prospect in the planning stage. If all goes well, we'll have only a spot left. So if anyone wants a spot, now is the time to get one. And that's all I have to report, except that, Jason, the committee is really going to miss you. We had all good times together.
Thank you. There's Lifestyles. Sandra's going to speak on behalf of Lifestyles. You can stay right where you're at. You don't have to get up. Yeah. It's been a long day.
Nope. Yep. Okay. Just takes them a second. I'm the board liaison to the Lifestyles Committee, and in the absence of someone to give an update, I thought I would. So, you know, each of us as board members and liaisons are really looking for ways to work with their committees to truly advise the board. So in my last meeting, I said, you know, it was obvious from the survey we sent around that the Lifestyles is a very powerful communication tool in the community, as is the district newsletters. I think those were the two most popular ways to get information. And so I asked them, I said, as a committee, can you advise me, to the board, you know, other ways that we can use this to effectively communicate with the residents? And one of their suggestions was to reignite this area called Did You Know, which I think was something Beverly Simmons did previously. And for instance, an example was our three funds that Gary talks about, the capital improvement, the reserve and replacement, and the operating funds, and folks not being entirely clear how those work or what theirs are, what it means that they're different funds. And I thought, oh, I can explain that and get some good advice if I need to have help. Another topic that was brought up was, you know, I walk a lot in the community and I see folks' geysers and leaking sprinklers and water gushing down the sidewalk and running down the gutters in our, you know, otherwise sort of drought-plagued community. So I thought, you know, what do we do about that? How to address that? How to help residents? So what I want to ask you as residents, and I'll take it back to the committee, but if folks have ideas of things you would like to hear from the board in a sort of did you know, things that you think are a benefit to the community or to hear from the board, would you please email me? Please don't call me because then I have to get a pencil and write it down. But if you would email me, then I'll have those and we can talk about where those, you know, will fit into the magazine and what the committee thinks about those. So I wanted to ask that of the community. And I just want to say, for those of you that read the magazine, I have watched all 50 hours of the National Geographic YouTube videos on Tic-Tac-Toe. It was worth every minute. And look forward to playing some of you. So thank you. That's an update, and I look forward to hearing from some of you. Alrighty.
Thank you. Restaurant and Lounge Advisory.
Good afternoon again. You know, that good old fall is in the air, a little cool today, which is nice, and that means that holiday activities in the food and beverage department are in the works. Now, I'm not going to go over what Javier just said, but I hope that everybody comes out for the Halloween party, all dressed up in your creative costumes, which many Sun Lakers are extremely creative when it comes to that. You need to get your tickets. Doors open at 5 o'clock till 6:30, and then at 6:30, everybody else can come in and watch the entertainment. I'm not sure who's the entertainment next week. No big D. That's somebody, yeah, anybody, but everybody else can come in at 6:30. But if you buy tickets, you'll have the best seats. So come in and do that. And he talked a little bit about Thanksgiving. We'll have 2 seatings on actually Thanksgiving Day with a 90-minute seating limit so that we can flip the tables for the next seating. The nice part is if you don't want to cook, you can pick up your meal the day before and heat it up on the day of and still have a great meal. And then make sure you look for more detailed information in the Lifestyles magazine for November, because there's a lot in there. And then in December, throughout the month, many districts, groups, and clubs have their holiday gatherings in the ballroom. If you haven't finalized your menu for these events, please do so as soon as possible. I know most people have their flyers ready to go, but it's important that so that CCL can make those plans ahead of time. And I think I've said this so many times, but I'm really going to reiterate it. Please remember, the only way the lounge, restaurant, and sandwich bar and grill will remain open is if we patronize them. We are a close community, so the clientele is limited to members of our country club. It is an amenity that many places don't have. So if every household supported the food and beverage amenity just one time a month, just once a month, even if it's coming down and having a drink and some hors d'oeuvres in the lounge, once a month, the future of our food and beverage department would look very promising. So I'm just going to ask, please take the time to come down and support this beautiful lounge, the sandwich, the restaurant. It's important. And then the last thing is that we'll be interviewing some new candidates or interested members for our committee here in the next few weeks. There's still time to get your information in. If you would like to be part of the committee, make sure you get it to Tammy as soon as you can so we can get you interviewed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Marcia, Red House will be the band for the Halloween party. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Safety.
Good afternoon, everybody, Master Board, management, and residents. My name is Michael Voles. I'm chairman of the Safety Advisory Committee. The Safety Advisory Committee has a mission to make recommendations to the Master Board, which will result in making Sun Lake's community as safe as possible for all residents, guests, and vendors. Our committee is composed of 9 residents, including an attorney, Roy, an ex-law enforcement officer, a retired civil engineer with 40 years of experience in traffic control, and other residents with years of knowledge and experience here at Sun Lakes. We meet on the 4th Monday of every month, and at this meeting, we receive reports from the Master Board, from First Residential, from Securitas, and from Community Awareness. Thank you, Michelle. This is an open session of our meeting, and any resident may attend and observe the process in this session. We encourage anyone who is interested to attend. We also have a closed session, and that's where we have our what we call hearings. When residents are found to violate Sun Lake's rules and regulations, they may be asked to attend a Safety Advisory Committee meeting for what is called a hearing. This is an opportunity for the resident to present an explanation for whatever the violation is. It may be for excessive parking violations, dog off-leash complaints, behavior issues, or other violations. Questions are asked of the resident by the committee and vice versa. After the resident has presented his or her case, the committee will discuss the case and vote to recommend a possible fine or to dismiss the violation. The resident is notified by letter from the compliance department as to the decision made by the committee. If the outcome is not favorable for the resident and there is a fine, he or she may appeal to the Master Board. I also want to mention at this time that myself personally and the Safety Committee has a good working relationship with the First Residential Service, and we hope to continue that going into the future. Please contact me if you have any questions or any safety concerns. My name is Michael Voles. My name and email are in the Lifestyles magazine. Have a great and safe day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Consent agenda.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on today's we have several items. The minutes, approval of the minutes from the September 24th, 2025 open session. We have a resolution to record liens, and I'll read those liens after I review the consent agenda. We have a financial statement packet, receive and file of the financial statements for the period ending September 30th, 2025. We have some resignation of committee members. On this agenda is accepting the resignation of Diana Wee from the Library Advisory Committee, effective 12/31/2025. Also, we have the resignation of District 11 alternate delegate Lori Hazelton, effective October 10th, 2025. That is on the consent agenda. Now, the specific items, oh, you got me the liens already. Okay. I thought there was, for the liens that we have, I thought there was one more. Oh, wow. The liens, the following accounts have met the statutory requirement for the association to file a lien. With the approval of this resolution, the following accounts will have a lien placed on their account for delinquent assessments. Account number 1789-02, 1875-01, and 2043-02. Those conclude the items that are on the consent agenda for the board to approve.
Will somebody make a motion to approve this consent agenda?
Approve the consent agenda?
May I get a second?
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Association business?
Yes, we're ready to begin. I just need the clicker. Lateral right. Was that red 99 right? Okay. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably why you're here today with the popcorn. Is on the agenda. We have several items related to the 2026 assessment, operating budget. We'll talk about the reserve study, golf rates. I'm going to do a presentation very similar to those who came to or watched the budget workshop. I'd like to thank my team of directors that were there presenting with the board and the FAC members. So I will begin a summary of some of the changes that happened within the departments of the association. So the first one, let's make sure. Boy, Gary, you're right. This wasn't working.
Oh, maybe you got to turn it on.
Did you shut it off?
That's on. There we go. We got the blue light. Hey, right on. Okay. The first one is the food and beverage division. Right now, we have a planned subsidy of $840,138. This mainly is the fee to CCL, which is about $778,000 roughly. That will be in the budget. Now, just like when you have a rent a house, the tenants are there, but you still have some responsibilities for maintaining that house. So there's still responsibilities that are the associations. These relate association responsibilities that relate to kitchen equipment, operating supplies, like the water softener, other items like the drain cleaning. These are items that are responsibility for Sun Lakes, along with the management fee with CCL. So year over year, the change in the budget is an increase of $143,000 roughly, about a 20% increase. Next we have, there we go, golf course maintenance. Now this is for the three pieces of golf course maintenance. It's golf course maintenance, golf course pro shop, and golf course operations. There are three segments that are within this division. So first, year over year, the budget will be $1,567,000. It's a $50,000 year over year change, 3.3% increase. So what has changed? Pro shop looking to increase based on the rate increase that is before the board this evening. So we're looking at that would be an increase on the revenue side. For pro shop, there is a decline in the labor. David reduced his staff or did not fill one staff, and that staff position will be eliminated. That saved the pro shop as well as some building and repair expenses. The janitorial used to be separated. They had to pay more. Negotiated with the current janitorial provider. We were able to get that thrown in to the normal admin, et cetera, that they're doing. So that saved on the budget. Now we go to golf course maintenance. So what is some of the changes that have occurred there? We're going to see an increase in staff labor costs. As we've talked about at the budget workshop, what you're seeing, there are increases that are happening in taxes, increases that are going to be related to insurance benefits, so that what an employee has to pay, what it costs, whether it's Kaiser or whatever, those costs are going up. That's reflected in there, and there is an increase to the staff, bless you, staff wage increase planned. That equated to about $89,000 budget increase. Then we had some budget reductions, and water has been one. Mark Birchfield has been really working, GAC, the board, on solutions for that. We heard that, and we knew that there was going to be increases coming down the line for utilities. One thing that we were proactive in getting was WaterSolve. Mark Birchfield, this is basically just quickly, is a chemical application that is put on the ground. One of the things that the ground underneath the turf is very hard, kind of clay. It doesn't allow water to get through. What that does is that the chemical allows the water to get down through to the roots so that you can do effective watering. I call Mark Birchfield the grass whisperer, and he has been able to deliver on that. So we'll see a decline in irrigation water. Corresponding with that will be a decline in power. Power is used for the irrigation system, the pump station. As you can reduce water, you're going to reduce electricity as well. And then finally, Birch over in the golf course maintenance area has been able to do some changes, and we've been tracking electricity usage less, and so we were able to reduce that budget. And gas and oil has been reduced as well. We have, you might remember, we've increased some of, or purchased some golf course maintenance large equipment over the last 2 years, and that has helped, we believe, reduce the gas and oil. Now there is going to be a maintenance contract increase, so golf course maintenance is seeing that increase, and that is the third party that addresses the drought-tolerant area. One of the things, and I know we've talked, someone brought up about message to management, but we usually are getting the message to management messages, and one that members have commented on was the drought-tolerant area of weeds, emitters not functioning. And so what the board and management working together with the vendor, we will increase that budget to address those areas more frequently. And that way we should see the happiness, the people that are surrounding the golf course, play golf, will be happier because the weeds are down. When they hit into that area, the weeds won't obscure the ball. Hopefully. Moving on. Okay, we have administration. So what changed? We're looking at a budget of $3.1 million roughly, an increase of $239,000, 8% increase. You're going to say, what the heck is going on, Chris? What are you doing there? Here's the big thing. The big thing right on the fourth bullet point. Insurance expense increase, $228,000 year over year. That is even, and we have, the board has moved to a different third-party broker, thank you, Brown & Brown. And Brown & Brown is a big company. They've worked with a lot of HOAs, and they're working diligently for this association. And they have been able to, even you might think, well, 228 or whatever is large. That's with them working to get us down. It could be even higher than that. So with Brown & Brown's help, we believe that it's only going to be an increase of about $228,000. Issue that's, we live near a wildfire area. It didn't help that the day that the board was interviewing, or the day after they were interviewing the broker, there was a fire up on the north side. That didn't help, but that is a risk. And unfortunately, watch business news like I do, you're going to see that insurance companies are trying to mitigate risk. And how do they do that? Either they drop you or they raise the rates. And that is what's going on here. We are not, this isn't just Sun Lakes getting hit, HOAs throughout the industry, homeowners, I'm sure several of you, I've received calls, hey, my insurance was dropped, I got to go to the state plan, what's going on? And that is happening more and more. And so unfortunately, it has impacted the association and directly affects the dues. We have been able to try to mitigate some of that, but the biggest change we're seeing is $228,000 just in insurance alone. One of the other things that the board proactively looked at was increasing. We had originally 4 customer service staff members until 2022 when one position was eliminated. What we have seen is that members' expectation and demand have increased for that service level, and we haven't been able to meet that. And so one of the things the board looked at is said, hey, okay, we're going to get that 4th person back. They can help with message to management. They can help answer phones. They can help with the application of the CIRIT tags. So our goal is with that staff member to reduce some of that wait time, have better customer response, and part of the request from the board is, hey, if we do this, we also would like you to be open fully 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, meaning we used to close at lunch 12 to 1. Starting January 1st, there will be a person there in that office from 12 to 1 to serve you. So you don't have to go to the door at lunch and knock and no one's answering. There will be there. So again, being proactive, looking at some of the issues that have caused members' anger. We believe that addressing this with additional staff to support the members will be helpful. Next, we have planning and compliance. Year-over-year change is about $31,000. It's about roughly 10%, and staff configuration still remaining the same, but again, the increase in wage and benefit costs year-over-year are causing that budget to increase. On the following one, we have recreation. Now, recreation is increasing. Their new budget would be $761,437, roughly $92,000 increase year over year, 13.87% increase. So what's happening here? Again, to meet the demands of the membership, we had 2 part-time monitors that would be here to help. We were still running into issues where members would call Linda, would call Jason, my room isn't set up. And because the one monitor either had to take a break or called off. So working with the board, we will increase the 2 monitors to full-time status, meaning we'll have more availability of those monitors to assist with teardowns, setups, addressing the members' needs. Again, this is a move to facilitate more customer service, more a proactive approach with the members, and again, reduce some of the stress that the members have communicated to us. The next slide. We're looking at landscaping, about $1.9 million budget, increasing $110,000 roughly, a little under 6% increase year over year. The biggest increase that we're seeing here is the landscape maintenance is expected to increase with contract. Now, one thing to remember, we have labor increases. Our vendors also have labor increases that they need to pass along. They don't do this for free. As they increase something, just as I'm sure you had 5 years ago, you said, hey, they painted my pop-outs and it was only $20,000. Now, or whatever, not 20,000, but 400, 300, sorry. And now it's $700. The costs are going up, and so some of our vendors have charged. We've gone out for RFPs with them, but even with that, there's still increases that they have to pass along. And so we're going to see that in some of the landscape and other contracts. Also, irrigation repairs. These are those little emitters in common area, pipes break. We've seen an increase over the last couple of years, and we're going to have to increase the budget to address that. And then lastly, you might remember we just talked about golf course maintenance increase. We're doing more contract work there. What that does is increases the greenbelt allocation to Mark Schleiden's landscaping budget of about 70. What is greenbelt allocation? It's about 35% of all golf course maintenance costs are allocated back to common area, and this represents those areas along the golf course that are considered more common area, not golf course. Think about as you're coming gate 3, there's those rose bushes, there's that little area, you see people walking their dogs and everything. That's kind of a greenbelt area. It's golf course, but it really is common area and Silverado and other areas. So that's what the Greenbelt is, and since golf course maintenance is increasing, you will see an increase in landscape budget. Next is maintenance operations. So we're seeing, again, we've seen increases. I think I've talked about it at the budget workshop. The amount of urinals that we've had to replace, the handles, the piping breaking. We've just seen more plumbing issues and other issues that has caused, over the last 2 years, those costs to increase. And therefore, we're increasing the budget to accommodate those costs. So we're looking at about $150,000 year-over-year change in the budget, a 12%, a little under 13% increase. The biggest areas: plumbing, repairs, maintenance, maintenance labor costs, as well as electrical services that we outsource to vendors. Those are, and electrical can not only just be the receptacles there, but also when we do light poles, we're responsible for the lighting on the streets. It's not a city, so we have to get somebody out there with a truck to get up to either address the light, change the light bulb. Those are some of the costs that we're seeing increased, and unfortunately has had an impact on our budget. And the next item is community patrol, I believe. And we're seeing actually a decline here in $16,000, roughly a 1% decline. So what happened? And so we expect to see a budget. We had projected a higher budget in 2025. The contract was negotiated at a lower. And based on that, even with an increase from the vendor, we're still going to be lower than 2025. And so the budget for property protection is 1.272. Now, this board is very proactive with looking at ways to integrate technology. That's for you, Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. So technology through cameras, through AI notifications that there's movement. Is there ways that we can then automate a little bit more at gate 5, meaning vendors can now go through there after hours? Is there ways we can transfer the resources that were at one gate to a patrol? These are things that we're proactively looking at. And so I'm looking forward to the new year when we're looking to roll out some of these items. We will update the community as we do, but that is one note that's happening within community patrol. Next item is the bulk cable. Pretty simple year over year. It's a $37,000 increase, about 1.5. It's based on the contract. The contract set out to increase about 4% every year. But again, through the negotiation that was done in 2025, the board was able to lower the actual amount below 2025 subsidy. So it's only going to go up about 1.5%. Next, we have utilities. And so we just heard, again, utilities going up. Refuse collection is an area. Now, the trend has been higher, and we're trying to mitigate this by caging our trash cans. Please, members, we understand you may have bulk items. Please don't throw them in the clubhouse trash dumpsters or the CCL trash dumpsters. We get fined for that. And we have been heavily fined in 2025, which has caused this to increase. And so even in going to Birchie's area, I know that dumpster's enticing to throw that chest of drawers. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Natural gas, we're expecting to see a decline in that. Common area water is expected to increase. And lastly, we've worked to consolidate. Ed Anon has been leading this charge with Jason to consolidate our internet, phone, working with Spectrum. That will all be, for common area, will be rolled in under there. So look forward to some of those improvements. Next, we're on the repair and replacement fund contribution. Will increase $74,000, roughly 3% increase. We are increasing the assessment subsidy for that, while the RRA fee is expected to decline. The RRA fee is what we collect when a house is sold. It is 6 months worth of assessments. We've been trending lower house sales. We look, again, we've talked to financial expert from First Service today talking about potential rate cuts that are on the horizon. That may spur more home sales, which would then impact this RRF. But right now, we've been conservative in that budget. And we are using Smart Property. That is the new company to help us with our reserve study and also an active database for reserve expenditures, reserve tracking, notation of maintenance. The board, again, looking at technology, has found a great product. James DeColey with First Service brought this to the board, and we have moved forward with engaging that group to assist with us. And it's worked very well at other First Service properties as well as other large-scale properties. So this will be very good. Look forward to more reports. You shall see that roll out in 2026. So lastly, where are we at? What does this come down to the bottom line? So it's right now on the budget that we have before the board is to increase the assessment to $410. That is planned operating expenditures of about $18,461,000. It's basically a 6.49% increase. And I always put this every year on a little chart of where the assessments have gone. Also, in the last 15 budget periods from 2011 to 2025, there have been 7 instances that the assessment was raised less than 3% or did not increase. Decisions made in the past, you heard the city mayor talk about decisions made in the past kind of impact the future. This is an example of what we're having to catch up as the world's increasing. Unfortunately, we need to raise the assessments to match that. I have a little chart here also of the history. I know it's small, ladies and gentlemen, but when this is on the Channel 97, you'll be able to see it. But you kind of see the history from 1991 where the assessment's at $63 and how we've progressed. And notably, after 2020, how you see those large increases, and you've also might remember 2021, 2022, high inflation, cost increase, and you know this as well as I do. When vendors or something gets to a new price point, they usually don't reduce it. They just go up from there, from your groceries, your eggs, services, and we've seen that increase since 2020 to 2025, those large increases year over year. With that, we will now have the board, on the agenda is for the board to approve setting the assessment at $410, as well as releasing the pro forma budget with the reserve study to the public. And that completes this segment of the PowerPoint presentation. That is another agenda item, sir. That's why I just said we're addressing one item at a time.
Chris, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the 2026 budget?
To clarify, the motion will be to adopt the 2026 assessment rate of $410 and to approve the distribution of the 2026 pro forma operating and repair and replacement reserve contribution budget to the membership.
May I have a second?
I second.
Who was the first? I'm sorry.
Well, Gary. Maybe.
Gary was first. Perfect.
Time for comments from the board. Any comments?
Yes, I think the $25 increase is too high. The other communities around us, they have HOA rates. There's Solera is $268, Four Seasons is $283, depending upon where you live, and we're not going to be above $400. If you're looking to buy property, you're going to consider twice about buying in a great facility like a great community. But I think once you go above that 400, it's kind of a psychological threshold there, and I would recommend we don't go that high. I mean, we had 3 of the first directives from our board indicated the increase. One was no more than $5. The next was no more than $10 increase. And the third one was no more than 5%. Well, we're in violation of all 3 of our own directives. To me, it's just, we need an increase, close to the CPI or something like that. But, we had 3 different meetings where we went from 404 to 408 to 410. Good thing we didn't have any more meetings, because this is the first board I've been on where it went up each time rather than trying to, to knock it down into a more acceptable level. So I understand it's going to be approved. The majority of the board supports that, and I just personally don't agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Does anybody else on the board have a comment?
I guess my comment would be, as treasurer, we have to look at the reality of price increases and the support of the amenities that make Sun Lakes a great place to live. Now, I don't like the increase. We all, in some form, live on a fixed income. But the other things that we tend to forget, for example, is when we ended the year last year, our bills, our total outstanding liabilities, exceeded our cash and other assets by almost $800,000. And that's basically meaning we were upside down. Our liabilities were more than our assets. And that has come about because of the last 5 years, over the last 7 years, 5 of those years we spent more than we brought in. And in 2023, 2022 and 23, we had a small surplus. But last year, we actually ended up with a deficit for the year of $880,000. If you look at it, if you look at it from your own personal perspective, if you spend more, if you have a retirement account, which is sort of what we have, if you spend more every year and the account goes down, I think I've said this before, what are your choices? You can borrow from your children, see if that works, or you have to raise revenue somehow. So that's what we're faced with. I was the one who suggested a 5% increase, but when we look at all the cost increases, as Chris talked about, I mean, our insurance is just, the increases are substantial. We spent a lot of time as a board trying to analyze the insurance, find a new broker, and we want to make sure our coverage is adequate, because that's a risk if we don't have good coverage. So if both of those things have occurred, we're improving our coverage and trying to save in whatever areas of our insurance we can save on. So,
thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'd like to say a few things. First of all, our insurance is going up $226,000 over and above last year's budget. Our labor increases, that's pretty normal. And supplies and food costs are going up, as we all know. Utilities, as Sherry said, 20% increase. Cable and TV, we're still getting it for $60 a month, which is an amazing buy. I don't think the other communities have that. And our reserves, we need to spend $3 million just to maintain our property. And also the other thing is our delinquencies are growing, so we have to cover that too. So unfortunately, we worked really hard on this budget and got a lot of input, and this is what it is. I'm sorry.
Sandra?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. And it's something for us all to think about as residents. One of the things that's coming out in the RFP process for a management company is the opportunity to use technology. And we don't have use of a lot of things like a resident portal. Turns out First Service, in fact, has this technology, and we have never made use of it. We're going to hear more about that tomorrow afternoon. But Chris has talked about the need to add staff. And that's a place where we're kind of our own worst enemy. He gets more and more phone calls that staff need to answer and voicemails. more and more demands for communication, activities, assistance. And so we've had to add staff to administration. But there are opportunities to implement a portal, and we're watching some of this be demonstrated where you can put in a work order for having your weeds pulled, or I don't know, whatever it is you might message to management. And then on the portal, you can track what's happening to that, right? Instead of waiting for someone to call you back. And requesting certain things, and so making reservations online instead of having to call and have a paid staff member answer the phone and work through your reservation. So there are opportunities for technology solutions, and we're looking at some of those. But we're also told, there's more and more clubs, they have more and more activities, and so we've had to increase the recreation budget, taking the 2 part-time monitors and making them full-time, because there is so much demand for set up, tear down for all of our lifestyle activities that we have. And then, of course, we've had myriad of emails and phone calls from residents regarding weeds at the end of their street, weeds outside the front door along the drought-tolerant areas. And so we are increasing costs to artistic maintenance to try and get ahead of the weed issues, and again, to calm down the distress that residents have for, I've got weeds outside my door and I paid extra for a view of the golf course and this is what I'm looking at. So we are attempting to address a lot of the needs and complaints from the residents, but a lot of that has translated into additional staff. So not just, salary increases, which we probably all experienced on our jobs every year with our review, and cost of increased benefits, because healthcare doesn't seem to get any cheaper. But also just the need for additional staff to engage the additional workload that we as residents are putting on our management company. So until some of this is implemented right now, these are our solutions, but really hoping in the community there'll be a willingness to embrace some of the technology that we hope to bring you as solutions. It should be more efficient and more effective. And I know we're in a 55+ community, and so there'll be folks that just aren't going to embrace that on the computer, and I understand that. But hopefully many of us will, and that's going to make things in our offices more efficient. That was sort of the idea with the smart properties as well. So I just want to say that's a lot of what we're looking at, but I think as we are like, I need more services, I need more attention, I need more things done, and I don't know why you're raising my dues. So we just have to kind of think we're living in a community, right, and a closed community. Our food and beverage and golf cannot go outside and attract membership. Marcia made a plea, it's a good one, for us to live in community and utilize the community, but also understand the impact on the community of what it is that we're looking for in our expectations. And so hopefully, again, you'll work with us as we try to find some efficiencies with technology in a number of areas. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a comment. I don't apologize to the community. I am part of the community. I don't want to pay $25 more a month, but I will, because I know that's what it takes to pay our bills. All board members had the opportunity to make requests to management when they started to design the budget for 2026. I only had one request. Tell us what it takes to pay our bills. Everybody in Sun Lakes pays their bills. They take care of their home. They take care of their bills. But collectively, as an association, we haven't been able to do that for the last few years. So unfortunately, we have to pay our bills. We have to be responsible. And we have to do what's right for all, not just for some. Again, I don't want to pay extra. I don't want to go to the gas station and pay 50 cents a gallon extra. But unfortunately, I live here and I can't drive down the street to another house. It's not like going to another gas station. These are hard decisions that 5 people in a management team have to make. These decisions are based on what's best for all, not just for some. So, unfortunately, things have gone up. Services need to be increased to take care of the community. I agree with Bob says. There are other associations close by that are not going to be as high as us. They also don't have the amenities that we have, or the clubs that we have, or the golf courses, or the sports that we have, or the entertainment that we have, or the food and beverage that we have. So I love living at Sun Lakes, and I'll do whatever it takes to the best of my ability to protect it for all of you. And I do it daily, I promise you that. We all do. So with that being said, I would like to take public comments at this time from any of the residents that live here. If you'd like to come up to the podium and make a comment, please at this time do.
Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. Some comments. If you haven't signed the amendment yet with CCL, will the budget in 2026 change significantly? Have we prepared and looked for that scenario? I'm getting concerned that we may have a problem there and will be shortfalled. If we change management company, have you put that inside of this scenario? Are we going to have enough expenses in all the changes that go on? There's a problem. I didn't hear anybody talk about that. Technology is great. As a technologist, I love it. And I use it. Computers are going to be a little bit more difficult to use. iPads are going to be, and phones are going to be the way that you have to communicate, so I wouldn't worry too much about computers. But there's a person here that was a technology person, and that person's leaving. Jason ran a lot of stuff with Spectrum, how to make things hooked up. We need to prepare to have the right resources. I've been talking about that for a while, and we need to make sure it's in the budget. I was with Gary. I was hoping for a 5%. I was really hoping for only $20. I have heard, and I think I need to put it to a challenge to the board and to the management company we have. I think we need to look at ways to save expenses. There was talk by Joe of bringing in a ball picker from the driving range that's not being used by a person. There's talk of having the robot, AI, come in to cut the grass. Excellent ways of doing stuff. We need to make sure, though, that we have a great plan to evaluate it. Is it going to really work? Is it going to really save some money? So I like to make sure that when we're looking at stuff, we should be looking at ways like you have of moving insurance from one company to another. And I was hoping that the Spectrum door fee could be tapped to lower it by $5. I didn't hear any comments back that we can do that. So I will end with this. I'll take the $25, but we better be sure we put in place things that we don't go, oops. I personally would go use the restaurant more, and you've all heard from me. I have a hard time spending $80 or $100 when I'm freezing my ass off inside of the restaurant because of the air conditioning. It's horrible. And we need to go look at and help CCL. Revenue will go down if people aren't happy with the environment, if it's still too noisy. Maybe I'm wrong. I got my hearing aids. I can turn down the noise. But I do think that we need to look at and help CCL with what's going on. If the noise inside of the band is still not working with our acoustics, we need to go spend a little bit more there. So I'll give you my blessing to go to 25. Let's just make sure we put the accountability and performance inside the budget so that we don't have to listen to it. Because I pay my bills, and we don't always do stuff, and it's been a problem. Thank you.
Janice Rice. This is just my opinion. I hate the landscaping here in the general area. Manicured plants are out. We need something that's more desert friendly, more just not have to be taken care of every single day, trimmed. You see those guys out there every day with their trimmers, and it's annoying. It's a noise ordinance problem, in my opinion, and it just doesn't, to me, it's not inviting. When I go to some of the other places, they're more natural. I know in the beginning, It's going to take money to get rid of that stuff. We're going to have to pull it all out and replant. I understand that. But maybe if we do that in 2026, then in 2027, we won't have to raise the HOA fee as high. But we really do need to get rid of the I won't say it the way I usually say it, the manicured plants along the way. It's out. It really is. That's not how other areas look. It's old. Thank you.
Really don't know how to address this. I spent many years in senior management in IBM, in Oracle, and in consulting. I dealt with budgets. I was given budgets by the executive management in my little area of anywhere from 400 to 600 people. I was told, make it work. Even though costs have gone up, find ways to cut the big items and bring them into a reasonable figure so that you were not losing money. And if you can't do that, the door's over there. You don't get the excuse of saying prices have gone up, suck it up, buddy. Ask your people to pay more or give up money. We were told to look at the big cost items and make sure the big cost items didn't cost that much. Figure it out. Don't run up a negative balance. We're running up a negative balance. There are two plums. I hate to say this because I'll probably get people upset, but the two plums are the restaurant and golf. Restaurant is over $1 million loss per year. Golf is $2.5 million loss per year. There are ways to make those losses less. Now, if we've got $410 potential for our dues for this coming year, a great amount of that money can be reduced by paring down over $1 million loss in the restaurant and paring down golf. There are other people from other HOAs around here, senior HOAs, that would love to play golf here, and we could charge them $6,000 a year to have a membership and give them a $10,000 security deposit requirement, and if they screwed up, you keep their 10 grand. They would come in and play. So there's ways to do it, and don't put it on our backs that you can't manage. Thank you.
Yes, I had a comment regarding your budget, regarding your insurances and going up in cost. My expertise lies in the life and health field, insurance agent, broker, health insurance groups, small and large groups. And typically what you'll find is when you shop your rates with just one big house, like a Brown & Brown or so forth, we do everything under one umbrella. They typically don't find you the best solutions to your insurance issues because they get paid off the gross, a flat percent, whether it's 5% or 10%. But as I found out in consulting with a lot of groups is that when you modify the way your group insurance looks, you can usually gap those exposures with a small supplemental policy. So if you have, let's say as an example, a Kaiser plan with a $500 deductible, if you change to a PPO plan that maybe has a $1,000 deductible, your rates may drop sometimes 12 to 16%. But then you take 2% of that savings and buy a supplemental policy with Aflac or Colonial or American Fidelity, and all the exposure is eliminated if that employee gets hospitalized. So I decided to mention that you could probably do some savings on your group benefits if you do a little digging behind the scenes. You won't necessarily hear it from the big house because they're just used to being there and just paying the bill. Oh, the rate's going up, but they don't necessarily look for the saving of money in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. I would like to reiterate Mary Jo's comment about Spectrum. In all reality, our HOA dues are $350, not $410. If you take the $60 out for Spectrum TV and internet, which you would never be able to pay on your own. So I think we have to keep that in mind because the $350 is still very reasonable in today's world. And I also want to thank the board because I know how difficult this has been to go through to come up with a higher than you wanted price. But in all reality, the costs are going up, and we are a 40-year-old community, and things have to be fixed. We can no longer just ignore a lot of this stuff that we have over the last few years. So thank you, board. I know this was not easy, and I support your $25 raise.
Hello, my name is Diane Arhus. Is this on? Okay. I've been here since 2013, and when I moved here, it was largely agreed upon, discussed, that food and beverage, restaurant, lounge were amenities. They were perks for living here. Golf course, perk for living here. It was never supposed to be money-making operations. Since that time, we've had a real crunch on making food and beverage pay for itself, and we've been crunching numbers and cutting back and whittling away and adjusting all kinds of things, and I applaud those efforts. We don't talk about the golf course at all. And I hear people say, well, I'm important in this community. I should be able to golf free. And, you know, we can't afford to talk like that. We have an incredibly underutilized asset. The golf course, we need to think differently. Our expenses are going up. Things are expensive. And we don't have a lot of people using that golf course. Think about it. At the beginning, we had 80% of our residents golfed. Is it 10% now? Barely, if. We need to think differently. And we need to limit our increases. I'm not crazy about it. I'm in a condo. That makes it 40 for me. But I'm not against the golf course. I love the golf course. I would not live here if it weren't for the golf course. Let me make that plain, okay? I don't want an open golf course. I've called around and looked at rates. And our rates are inexpensive on that golf course. They are very inexpensive. I think a lot of people know that. When I got the rates here, they said they weren't going up next year. It looks like there will be a price increase. It looks like there's something on the budget for that. But between a private golf course and a public golf course, there are steps. I'm parroting Howard. You know, we could have limited memberships with the 55-plus communities. There's all kinds of things we can do. Yeah, that would change. We'd have to get cards. Yeah, there are logistics. But the golf course is an incredible asset. Let's keep it. Let's use it. Let's let it help us. We need help, and we need to think differently. We do need to think differently, please. That's all.
My name is Fran Hanratty, and as I said before, when you had requested comments for the increase, and I said I oppose this increase, and I still do oppose this increase because I see my neighbors, those neighbors who have been here over 30 years. I myself have been here since 2008. And all those Social Securities, pensions, the value has gone down tremendously. I see some people who will be forced out of here, maybe not this year or next year, but very quickly, to move with children or elsewhere where it's more affordable. When I purchased this home in Sand Lakes, I was not a golfer, but just the beauty, the landscape. It was an incredible feeling that you feel here with nature. I think that the landscape itself contributes to the value of the property, maybe even 30%, or I don't know, you know better than I do. I think that there's other areas to make changes, and we have too many clubs. And I'm sorry for all those people who have clubs. I myself belong to some clubs. And perhaps we need to look very carefully as to, is this club only has 10 members, and each club costs money to have that club. So we need to cut down back to perhaps leave it at 55 according to the 55 plus community. So please say no to 410. Keep it under 400, please.
So there's been a first and a second. I'm calling for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
4-1, passes.
Okay, next on the agenda is for the accept the 2026 Reserve Study Report. As indicated in the Reserve Study, we have for the 2026 planned expenditures is $3,847,946. The draft reserve study is attached for the board's approval. A keynote and from the reserve study analyst is the purpose of the reserve study is to serve as a budget planning tool, which incorporates the association's repair replacement fund balance, budgeted contributions, a list of significant repair replacement projects, and recommended funding plan. The component list contains cost estimates and approximate schedules for the association's predictable reserve expenses. These figures are strictly for estimates unless otherwise noted. So on the agenda is for the board to accept the 2026 Reserve Study Report.
Can we get a motion to approve the reserve study for 2026?
I move we approve the 2026 Reserve Study.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we have on the agenda, the board had discussed the 2026 planned golf rates, and now these rates are in front of the board to approve. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still using the same PowerPoint that I had done. I know the gray doesn't always show up well. So year over year, what we're looking at is the annual rates for the championship and for the executive course will not increase. They will stay the same year over year. The daily rates, as discussed with David Goldstein during the budget workshop, will be the areas that we are looking to increase. For example, so this is what you're seeing right now is the annuals, which again will remain the same year over year. $3,000 for the annual for the championship, which allows you to play both, and you get the second household member discount, which is $2,510. For the executive, it's $1,700 with the annual on the annual course and a second household discount down to $1,395. Now, for these are the daily rates. The green fees, we're looking, for example, resident rate would go up from $44 to $55. It's a 25% increase. The resident rate for 9 holes increasing to $35. Twilight increasing. The guest rate for 18 holes would move from $60 to $75, and so on with the guest rate for 9 holes and the Twilight. On the executive course, we're seeing an increase of $5, about 20% from 25 to 30, and you see that attached in your agenda. Guest rate moving from 38 to 45. Roughly, the highest increase is 25%, that being the championship resident rate, guest rate for 18, guest rate for 9 holes. That is the recommendation from David Goldstein, the Golf Pro, and is before the board to approve.
We have a motion to approve the golf rates for 2026.
I make a motion to approve the 2026 golf daily rates.
I'll second
and
that.
annual rate.
Any comments? I have one. There's been a lot of comments today about utilizing the golf course more, getting more out of that amenity financially. We're still not done. There was a 6-month ad hoc committee that looked at ways to increase. The board has spent months trying to find ways to increase revenue with the golf course, and we're still not done. We're still looking at, with David, on doing some additional things after 12 o'clock noon every day in the future, potentially integrating into this daily rate program. So we are still not done. Somebody said something about automation and utilizing driving range and cutting machines that are autonomous, that are unmanned. Tomorrow morning, you'll see them on the golf course. For the next 2 weeks, we have a study that we're doing with a large international company to see if we can save money and be more efficient and leave a smaller carbon footprint. We are doing the things that you're asking us to do. They just take time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the 2026 election calendar as provided by the Inspectors of Election. They have prepared, and it's just around the corner, election season. We need this approved so we can begin the election schedule.
I make a motion that we approve the election schedule for 2026.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have a delegate assembly request, gift cards for district holiday parties. Management has received this request, and I believe it was talked about at the district delegate meeting. In the past, delegates have received a $100 gift card, four $25 gift cards totaling $100. Bless you. Nothing to sneeze at. And the districts would utilize this for their holiday parties. They are requesting that the board approve the purchase of these gift cards from CCL, which would allow the districts to hold their holiday functions here, bless you, in the facility. If approved, the total amount of $2,300 would be spent from the operating fund. Each district would get, again, 4 $25 gift cards totaling $100. Also in the request is that the 2026 gift cards would be issued in February 2026 and would be funded from the 2026 operating budget. So there are 2 items on there, one now for 2025 to get gift cards to the delegate assembly for each of the districts, and the continuation of this practice into 2026.
May I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the gift cards for the district delegates for 2025 and 2026.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait. Chris, how do these amounts compare? Because we budget expenses for the district delegates, right, in the operating?
So the question was asked, how does this compare?
Sorry, how does that compare to the budget? Because we do budget delegate expenses.
We do, and we have budgeted this in the past. The only change is that there was a transition with CCL. Gift cards couldn't be used across.
Right, we didn't have gift cards for a while.
Right, we didn't, and we've had gift cards that work in the pro shop but not CCL. So the delegates are asking, instead of going out and getting Visa gift cards, hey, we're going to use it at the restaurant, support the restaurant. It is budgeted for, it's going to be budgeted in 2026, and the delegates will be using this for their holiday events with CCL.
Okay, I just wanted to understand, this is a budgeted expense, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Next is the community request from the committee request. So, sorry, Michelle. From the marketing committee, and I'm sure they'll come up to give a presentation on this. The proposal that was received, management received a request from the marketing committee to spend $900 per month for 6 months to place a roadside billboard on the 10 freeway just before Highland Springs exit when traveling westbound. This expense would be funded through the marketing committee's budget, and the attachment of what that would look like is in your board packet, and I believe we have a speaker here.
Ready? Okay, thank you. Michelle Walter, chairperson for the marketing committee. The marketing committee came up with an idea of, I think everybody remember that we used to have a huge billboard that had Sun Lakes on there when we first started building. So that has long been taken down, and the marketing committee has suggested to the master board that we would like to have this sign put up there, and it's between Sunset and Highland Springs. So Jean Dobson has some more information that she's going to give you. We've worked very hard on this, and this is coming out of our marketing budget, so it's not something that we have to pay extra for, but it's really going to highlight Sun Lakes, people coming from east to west, and showing that we do have Sun Lakes here, and it's a great community.
Well, y'all took my thunder, and we left the best presentation for the last. So all you folks at home, I hope you're going to see it that left early. But first of all, Jason, words do not express how much we will miss you. But your reasons are justified, of course. Family first. So anyway, I'm Jean Dobson. Good afternoon, the Master Board, FSR, CCL, I'm glad you stuck around, and residents. My name is Jean Dobson, and on behalf of the Marketing Committee, we are recommending the placement of large commercial advertising on the freeway, which we believe would be beneficial to property sales within Sun Lakes. Because we are soon approaching our 40th anniversary, we do not have developer marketing that newer communities have, and obviously we had many, many, many years ago. Outdoor advertising, known as billboards, are comprised of several products, and the one that we are recommending is a poster, which is really slightly smaller than the average, what we traditionally know as a billboard. These structures are smaller than, in the industry, they're called bulletins, the large ones. The next one that we're recommending, posters. So these are a little smaller than bulletins. They are seen by vehicular traffic in commercial and industrial areas on freeways and highways. Posters provide more impressions per dollar than radio and magazines, TV and newspapers. The size of a poster is 10'5" by 22'8", and they're printed on PosterFlex, which is installed as a seamless single sheet and is weather resistant. The typical cost is $900 to $2,500, and it's all billed in a 4-week period. But those rates are dependent upon location, and the contract is a minimum of 6 months. The proposed investment, which can be supported by the existing marketing committee budget, costs for 4 weeks $900. The production cost is $840, which is the actual production and installation of the product. The total expense, $6,240, payable monthly, $1,040. And the contract period is November through April. The target audience, it is our objective to capture the snowbird traffic who visit this area beginning in November through April and would be traveling the 10 freeway going west to Redlands, LA, other extracurricular activities, and then returning to the desert. As a delegate attending Welcome Home dinners, we have discovered many new residents have moved to Sun Lakes from the desert when they have discovered that it's just too dang hot out there, right, Jason? The location is east-facing between Sunset and Highland Springs, and this location is currently advertising Kodiak Painting, and they will be vacating that poster, and they're moving to another location. They have realized growth in their business as a result of this advertising and reaching new business in the desert locations. The message uses anything that's already on the brochure that was approved by the board and has recently been distributed to real estate agents. So there is no cost for artwork applicable to this particular issue. And Kodiak is actually, their contract on that space is ending November 16th. We would be able to take it over November 17th. So any questions? No, good. Thank you very much. Questions, board?
So shouldn't it say something about homes available? No? And, or if they do come in, they can't get in because they don't have access.
They can contact the website. They can contact, you know, we're
Okay.
listed on phone books.
Okay.
Information. We're limited pretty much to what we can actually put on this display. You know, we're limited to 9 words, and you know, there's only so much that we can do. If this actually is beneficial, we can sign up for another 6 months and we can change the message. We can't change midstream you know, we're going to stay with this for the first 6 months. Michelle?
So the board has already approved this particular signage. It was already in our welcome home brochure, our real estate brochure. So that has already really been approved by you. And if you want to have it redone and have us do, it's going to cost a lot more money. And we want to get this out by November 17th because the snowbird's already here. And we want to make sure that if they're going to LA or they're going to Disneyland or they're going up to the mountains, they're seeing Sun Lakes and they're going to look and say, wow, I've never seen that before. I knew there were homes up there, but I didn't know it was a premier active adult community. And it's a golf course community. So we're saying everything that we have here. We're active, we're an adult community, and we've got golf courses. And look at that picture.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. You know, we need to market our community. You know, we haven't been recently, and we make a lot of money off of the sale of homes, reserve replenishment, you know, social membership. You know, we make about $3,000 or $4,000, and you know, the more sales, the more money comes in, you know, to us to help keep our assessments down and improve our community. I like the picture. The picture looks awesome, and I think the cost is unbelievable because normally when you get a poster or billboard, you're not going to get anything for $900. That's for sure.
Just as a reminder, you know, Four Seasons, they're still a relatively young, new community, and they have had, you know, in the recent past, advertising. Altus, you see their signs all over the place, and we are not in a position to have that, you know, because we're 40 years old, so our developer is not marketing us anymore. Yeah, it's up to us to market ourselves.
I just, I think it's great.
We
and
need to hold, unless you have a question, I want to hold comments until after we get a first and a second, to stay in protocol. So do I have a first?
Yeah, I make a motion, we approve the proposed billboard advertising on the 10 freeway presented by the marketing committee.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Now we can open it up, Sandra.
So I think it's a great idea, and I think you're right, and I think the timing is perfect too, as well, to hit it with the snowbirds. I just know on the 10 freeway, it's a little bit like the Autobahn, you're moving pretty fast. And so my only comment is, like the Sun Lakes is really big, and golf course community, I'm just not sure the premier active adult in smaller font and white against the light blue is going to jump out, and that was my only thought. But like you said, if it's already in production, we can't change it, then we'll make a go for it. But just want to make sure like that, the words, like, you know, jump out as you go
Well, if
past
the
it.
premier active adult in white, that might be able to be changed. We have until the 17th, correct?
No,
No, this is it.
this is it.
This is it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right, thank you.
Sorry
You
about
don't have a choice unless you want to start all over again.
Well, he knows what no
No,
means.
I don't, but okay.
And then we may not get Kodiak. And if you're going down that area, there is no obstruction. You're able to see it. There's no telephone lines. There's no trees. There's nothing there. So it's a perfect view for us, and then the next exit is Highland Springs.
Okay, is there any other public comments on this?
How about one going the other way, too?
Cost. This is coming out of the marketing budget.
Okay, so
Yeah,
this is...
let's crawl before we can walk here.
This is the only one that's...
This is the only one
Okay,
that
we-
we're
we-
recommending to the master board right now.
I understand. I'd like to call for the vote now, if that's okay. May I call for the vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Wait, I think you had public comment. Sorry, point of order.
Well, I've got to get, can you let other people comment? Thank you. Sorry, guys, I didn't know it was part of this. I apologize.
Okay, David Keeley, I think it's a great idea, and the best thing that I heard is it's when they're within their budget. Go.
Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. Used billboards a lot when I was a marketing manager. They're very successful in communities. I do think the point, this looks great. I think you ought to run with it. Because I saw Kodiak the other day. I go, wait a minute, they're advertising. It caught my eye, so it's a good placement, and I believe this will work. I do think you need to think about having your brochure at the guards when they show up, that they can say, you know, here's how it works, that you have a way to help the guards with the people, and go for it.
Great point. All in favor? Let's do this again. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we're going to have, we have some committee requests, I'm sorry, not committee, committee recommendations. There are 3 from Recreation, and I'd like Jason to address those.
All right, thank you. The first one is going to be for the approval of a paint and slip application. So this is a group that would like to meet in the North and South Clubhouse. They would like to have once a month a paint and sip meeting. They have their 25 members to become a group, and the rec committee has sent in their recommendation to approve this group. So it is before the board now to officially approve the paint and sip group.
I make a motion, we approve the Paint and Sip Group as a new club.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any public comments?
No.
Any painters and sippers? Oh, okay.
The second one is another, this one is a club application. It is bringing back the Genealogy Club. We used to have that club here in the past. It did kind of shut down right prior to COVID, or as COVID was going down, and we have a lot of residents that want to bring it back. They have over their 50 members that are needed to become a group or a club. They are actually even going to create bylaws and have a board. So they would like to revive that genealogy group. The rec committee did see that and hear them. The rec committee is behind it and brings it toward the board.
May I have a motion to approve this?
I make a motion that we approve the reformation of the Genealogy Club.
I second that.
Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the third one is if the board approves this, it would be the creation of a rule. We would bring it back at the next meeting to put on for a 28-day public comment period. And what this would be is currently right now, the backboard is limited to 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. They would like a rule made, because this is just a suggestion. There's never been a rule stated for it, but the committee would like a rule made that the backboard and the tennis ball machine can only be used between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to avoid unnecessary noise for the homeowners that surround the tennis courts down at the South Clubhouse.
I would like to just mention that they're a little bit behind times, because basically that complaint came in to the tennis club. The tennis club resolved it by having the board itself painted. You couldn't use it from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., not 8 to 8, but 10. And we advised the tennis club, and it has been in effect for the past couple of months.
Yeah.
So they're behind times and didn't know. So it has been resolved, and it is now restricted only from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So this matter could probably be
Should we table this?
tabled, because we've already addressed it as a club.
Tabled or declined? I mean, if it's resolved.
Well, let's just get let's just table it for now and get verification. Can I get a motion to table
I
this?
recommend the matter be tabled at this time.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Go ahead, sir.
Steve Nee, Sunrise Drive. I'm one of the homeowners. This was brought up for a couple reasons. One, there's already a sign on the board, which makes a lot of noise. From 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., you can't use it. They're bringing the tennis machine onto the tennis court, and they're going up till 10 o'clock at night. And this is what you hear. The board is okay, 10 to 8 p.m., that's fair. After 8, they don't need it. But they're bringing the tennis machine on. Now, the tennis players were asked not to do it late at night. Most of them abided by that, Bob. Some of them don't. They're out there till 10 o'clock at night, Bob. Here's the problem. This is what you hear. Boom! 1001, 1002, swish. 1003, 1004, boom! Now you hear that noise 12 times a minute, 720 times an hour, and you hear it until 10 o'clock at night. Those of us who go to bed early or go to bed and read and have to leave your window open for fresh air, it's out. You can't read, you can't sleep, because boom, 720 times an hour. We are asking that you do nothing more than go along with what's already up there on the board and say the tennis machine as well can only be during those hours. In fact, they were even recommending going 8 in the morning instead of 10, which is fine with us, but cut it off at 8 o'clock at night so people can sleep and read peacefully.
Thank you. Now, that's what the tennis club has already done with the machine. There was really basically only one person who was doing it repeatedly, and she now has been advised and no longer uses it after 8 o'clock. And
Bob, 2 nights ago, it was used again. It's used almost every single night. So my point is, it's already on the board, not between 10 and 8. Why don't you just do the tennis machine the same thing? But the recreation committee said, let's lower it till 8 in the morning and make it till 8 at night, and then the board is consistent with the tennis machine. They're both 8 in the morning till 8 at night.
if there's someone that's in non-compliance, just notify Securitas and have it resolved, because we've
We
advised.
can't, Bob,
and
there's
we've
no
enforced.
rule. You can't call Securitas if there's not a rule.
I was just gonna
Securitas
say, how
says
do
we can't do anything
enforce
about it.
You call Securitas.
Why are you objecting to just making it the same as the board, 8
It's
to 8?
already been addressed.
Okay, we'll address that. That's why we tabled it. I wanted to get more information.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your comments, and we will get with the board on that, okay?
Master Bird, can I just make a comment also?
Sure.
I am the vice president of the tennis club, and I just want to let you know that there are people that go out there and actually play tennis, and we can play tennis until 10 o'clock at night. So there's no restrictions on us playing tennis, and if somebody's using a ball machine and it's all by themselves, and they're only till 8 o'clock, and we don't know that it's just a ball machine, it could be anybody. It's not just the tennis club, because the tennis club does not own those courts. The entire community owns them. So you can't just say it's a tennis club. It could be anybody. And I know this particular person has their own tennis machine. So it's I just don't, I think it needs
Sounds
to be
like we
tabled.
need a rule.
Well, I think we've done the right thing. We're going to table it. We'll get
Right.
with Jason, and we'll gather, and we'll come up with a solution.
Right, but we've done what we were supposed to do according to what Jason had asked us.
Okay, thank you.
And if they have their own tennis machine, that's more of a reason to have
Wait.
a rule and make it consistent.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move on.
Okay, next, we have some committee appointments on the agenda under item, J. Common Area Advisory Committee, Chairperson Doug Swenson requested the board appoint the following members to the committee. Terms will begin January 1st, 2026, and conclude December 31st, 2027. The members are Doug Deans, Sally Jo Schwartz, and those are the 2 members for board approval.
I make a motion that we accept the application or membership of the 2 common area.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Library Advisory Committee, Chairperson John Hasha has requested the board appoint the following members to the committee, terms beginning January 1st, 2026, and conclude December 31st, 2027. That is Laurel Stanley and Harriet Snyder.
So moved.
Second.
We can do that.
All in favor?
Aye.
For time purposes, board, we can, and recommendation from the clerk of the board, to appoint the committee members in mass. And so if approved, I will do that. With your approval, I will read off all the committees and the appointments, and you can...
Please.
Okay, thank you. Marketing Advisory Committee Chairperson Michelle Walters requested that the committee appoint Robin Warner, term January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2027. The MAC, Master Architectural Committee, has asked that the chairperson, Roy Neerman, has the following members. They would be appointed to a two-year term, all of them: Roy Neerman, David Keeley, Leela Wolden, Jerry Howell, and Helen Mitchell, no relation. Recreation Advisory Committee, we have Gloria Pena has requested the board appoint the following members, terms to begin January 1st to December 31st, 2027. Connie Kuttner, Peter Fernandez, Pam Glatt, and Christine Chase. And last, nope, that one has been pulled by the request of that member. And finally, RV Storage Advisory Committee Chairperson David Puckett has requested the following members be appointed for terms January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2027. Bob Drummond, Joe Cross, Jim Ball, and Richard Fetterman. If the board agrees, they would appoint to all of these four committees.
May I have a motion, Bob?
I move
to appoint the
We have a verbiage on this.
committee appointments as recommended. As term dates for the Master Architectural Committee were not provided, the terms of this committee shall be established as January 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2027.
May I have a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just to clarity, it should be January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2027. Okay.
Yeah, there's a typo. Sorry about that.
No worries, we're on it. Okay, last one. Last but not least, we have an outside entity request to post a flyer in the main clubhouse. Management received the attached letter, which is in your packet, from Carol's Kitchen, from Susanna Duncan. They are asking the board to allow them to place a flyer on the flyer rack in the lobby of the main clubhouse. The flyer is for their annual shopping extravaganza at the Cabazon outlets, where a portion of the ticket sales that day will be given to Carol's Kitchen. Since this is an outside organization, the master board approval is required. That is before you for your approval or denial.
Let's hold off on the comments. Do I have a motion to approve this for Carol's Kitchen?
I make a motion we approve Suzanne Duncan's request for Carol Kitchen's utilization.
I second.
Any comments?
David Keeley, been involved with the Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust for many, many years. And I'm going to speak to this. It refers in the agenda, master board approval is required. Oh, please see the attached letter for more information. It's very brief, and here it is. It's to the board of directors from Suzanne Duncan, the president of Carol's Kitchen. Thank you for considering my request to post a flyer in your Sun Lakes Country Club clubhouse or other area of your choice for Carol's Kitchen upcoming fundraiser, November 1, 2025 at the Cabazon outlets. Attached, you'll find a copy of the flyer to be posted, and it's very nice. It was also attached. You can see this online. We, as a charity, have supported, with the help of Cabazon Outlets, they're one of the businesses that are involved in supporting and providing money for us. And for many, 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 many years, decades, we have supported Carol's Kitchen. I mentioned earlier at the opening of our meeting, and I'm talking to the board, to this motion that I'm not in favor of. I think we should deny this because we had more requests than the 29. Our grant committee added a couple of new charities this year that were properly vetted and fit our profile of who we support. But there were others that made grant requests that we didn't support. So what I'm telling you, there's a lot of nonprofit organizations in this area. And you're opening Pandora's box, because if we say yes and they can do this, that means every charity in the area is going to be aware of that, and you're going to be inundated. I think it's not a good idea. They will receive money again. They're one of our favorites. They get a good amount from us. Next week on the 30th at 5 o'clock, come in and meet them and see them get some money from us. But I am not in favor of this. I think you should vote no on this motion.
I agree with David. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nonprofit. We're opening, as he said, Pandora's box.
Okay, we heard you, sir. We heard you. Any other comments?
Yeah, but basically, they're asking to temporarily place a flyer in our flyer rack. You know, Carol Kitchen is a great organization. Many people from here volunteer for it, and temporarily having a flyer in our rack, I don't see it as a major issue.
Just to make another comment, I agree with David. We give a lot to the charities. If we open it up to this particular one, then we have to open it up to every other single one. I've had several people ask me if they could put their flyers, and I said absolutely not, because if I give it to you, it's no different than having somebody coming in here and selling something at the community awareness. Then I have to have it open to everybody else. If we do it for one, we have to do it for all.
Any other comments? I'm calling for the vote. All in favor? All opposed?
All right.
Aye.
Nay.
Motion fails.
Yes.
And that completes the action items for the board. We move on to miscellaneous board updates and board member comments.
I have no comment.
Let's start with Mary Jo. Are you awake down there? No comment. Okay. Sandra? Sandra?
I'll make it quick, but I think there was a plea for increased volunteerism, and I just want to echo that plea. Cal brought that up, and there are many areas the clubs and committees are looking, especially committees and delegates looking for volunteers. So I just want to admonish that we as a community, we make it work and we work together, and that's a lot of the value of the community then is volunteering and giving back to it. I just want to encourage that. Let's go eat.
Gary? There's others.
Yeah, I would just like to, again, thank Jason Ewalls. He's been such an awesome assistance here to our community. I've worked with him, had the honor of working with him for the past 5.5 years. And if you need anything done well, done on a timely manner, you assign it to Jason. I can remember one time years ago, we were just coming out of COVID, and we were trying to get people more involved in the community. And so we had a program called Community Sun Lakes Olympics or Sun Lakes Games, and I was coordinating that with Jason's help. And one of the things that we were doing was having people compete in a swimming event. And you know, I had a certain time and set up, people signed up, and this one gal called in and said, well, I can't make the event. So I told Jason, she's out, she's disqualified. And, you know, I'm a retired PO, you either do it or you don't, you know. And he said, well, Bob, think about it. You know, we can time her and she can come in at a later date and time and, you know, be timed. You know, and here's Jason giving me advice as to how to, you know, be patient, and it worked out. The gal, of course, won a badge and thanked me profusely. I said, well, geez, it wasn't me. It was up to me. You wouldn't have competed. But it was Jason. Jason was the logical one, and you know, he was a great person to work with, and we will all miss him. I know I will.
Yeah. I make a motion, we refuse his right.
I want to say.
There you go, Jason. You've heard the last word.
I want to say to everybody sitting in the room and everybody watching on Channel 97 that hung in there with us today. It was a long meeting. It was a hard meeting. This is what I meant in the beginning when I made a small speech.
Sun Lakes isn't about the golf courses. It's not about the amenities. It's about the people. It's about the people sitting here and you at home watching and hanging in there with us. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Jason, we'll be in touch, buddy. We know where you're going to work, and we're going to keep an eye on you because we're going to try to steal you back as soon as we can. This meeting's adjourned.